Good evening, everybody. You are watching a live broadcast of Moorpark Raiders football, brought to you live by SoCal College Sports. Today's game has been brought to you in part by the United States Air Force, Special Warfare. Any place, anytime, anywhere.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and I am Luke Lamont, joined by Emery Johnson. The 1-3 Allan Hancock Bulldogs have traveled into enemy territory to take on the 2-2 Moorpark Raiders here at Griffin Stadium on the campus of Moorpark College. A special opportunity for the Raiders tonight as they get a shot to avenge a Strawberry Bowl loss that capped off their 2022 campaign on homecoming night. Both teams look to recover from losses last week as the Bulldogs fell short against the Ventura Pirates 32-28. Meanwhile, the Raiders struggled against El Camino 65-29. Now, Emery, a lot to cover from last week. Let's start with the Raiders and how their last Saturday night went.
Gosh, Moorpark College had a tough one over at El Camino. That's a long road trip, hard place to go play. El Camino, obviously one of the established teams in the 3C2A. Every single year it seems like they just have a hard team to beat, and Moorpark ran into a juggernaut last week. They played, in fact, earlier on in the season, a Mount Sac team that has been always very, very good, and Mount Sac this season is no exception. They lost that game, but it was a close game, and they kept it entertaining, and Moorpark ran into that team, and they just could not do a couple things really well. One of them was they couldn't stop the run, and that's going to be very relevant tonight. Moorpark College is going to be facing a team of Allan Hancock who, I mean, our big notes, at least for this game, is Allan Hancock likes to run the football. But final score of that football game is 65-29. We're going to get into the stats a little bit from last week. We're going to talk about Croton and his campaign. Now, he didn't throw that bad last week. In fact, he had a kind of a turnaround game, 25 for 50, so 50% completion percentage, but 282 with 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. That's not bad. That's trending a little bit upwards. And then we're going to go to your guy, Luke, number 6. Bring him up. We got Cronquist. I mean, he finds ways to be effective in that stat sheet. 95 yards through the air, 15.8 yards, in terms of average, and he had 2 touchdowns. It says 28, but I'm going to tell you it's 2 touchdowns. Man, if he had 28 touchdowns last week, we would have a completely different scoreline. But Luke, yeah, I mean, do you have any final thoughts about that game? Because there were so many things that were interesting. Moorpark in the first 30 minutes of that game were playing very well, and it seemed like El Camino just figured something out, and they were able to continue to repeat it. And I think it had to do with the defense getting off the field quick, the defense just not able to stop the football, and them just being out on the field a whole bunch after the first kind of quarter of that football game.
I think the biggest part for Moorpark, while they kind of fell behind in that game, is they had -10 rushing yards total as a team, and when you're playing a good team like El Camino, that's just unsustainable football. They're going to figure out you're trying to pass it after the fact and still maintain a solid game passing and limit the turnovers. That's something he definitely needs to continue. And for moving forward to Allan Hancock, they got really close to beating Ventura last week. They fell short 32-28. They did a really good job all over on all aspects. They did struggle on defense. They gave up over 570 total yards.
Goodness.
and similar goes for Moorpark. They gave up over 650. So both teams' defense was a huge issue last week. But another thing for Allan Hancock, they struggled more so in the passing game. 307 yards allowed, no turnovers forced, and 4 touchdowns from that Ventura quarterback. It's something that they're going to need to improve on. Both teams struggled against the specialty of what we're facing today.
And I think this bodes well for Moorpark, is that them being a primarily throwing offense, this is going to be very helpful for them this season. Or at least in tonight's game. The final score line against Ventura for Allan Hancock last week was 32-28. Definitely a tight game. Ventura is one of those teams this year, they seem beatable. And so Allan Hancock kind of in the mix. The WSC Northern Division, very interesting. Let's get into the stats a little bit for the 2 top contributors on offense for Allan Hancock. We're going to start with Jackson Clavel. He's their starting quarterback. The stats aren't going to jump off the page to you. It's 8 for 16, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. They like to run the football, and that's going to bring up the second guy on our stat sheet, number 39, Caden Harris. Now, Caden Harris, he's going to be taking a majority of your snaps as the running back, but this is a team that has ran, if I'm checking my stat sheets correctly, over 10 different running backs this season. So Caden Harris, he has 12 attempts for 129 yards in last week's game. His long was 48, and he had 1 touchdown. And Jackson Clavel, 2 touchdowns through the air. It looks like they were able to move the football effectively and then, when necessary, swing the receivers out, swing the tight ends out, and get them into space to score touchdowns. Unfortunately, they just could not get it done on the defensive side, and that has been the bane of their existence, at least against Ventura and their other opponents so far this season.
And it's one of the things that defense is going to be huge for today. Both teams high-powered in what they like to do best. Moorpark favors the pass. Allan Hancock definitely favors the run. They had 258 rushing yards last week. Let's look forward a little bit to today, what we have to expect from the Raiders. Their offense averages 32.8 points a game. How do they do that?
Man, it has to do with being able to attack with Cronquist and the other contributing members of this offense. At the end of the day, they've been able to put points on the board, but, realistically, it's just been a matter of who can score the most points in the right situations in order to secure victories.
And one of the key things for today, looking forward to this game, is I would say the Raiders, they really need to maintain time of possession. You're going against a heavy run team. If you're able to limit the chances that they have with the football, you put them in a hole, because then you're going to force them to pass. And Clavel, not necessarily great in the pass. He does have 4 interceptions so far on the season, only to 5 passing touchdowns, and they only average 100 yards through the air. So it's really important for the Raiders that they're able to maintain possession of the ball and obviously stop the run. And for Allan Hancock, how are they going to attack this Moorpark Raider offense?
Well, it's going to be pretty clear-cut in terms of how they're going to attack it. They're going to try and prevent them from throwing the football. The Raiders like to throw the football. That's what they like to do. They mix it around. Negative 10 yards on the ground last week. Defensively, we'll see if they try to expose that. Realistically, they allowed 500 yards last week against Ventura College. Ventura College does a great job of moving the football around. Will Cowan, longtime head coach over there, and that's just what they've done at Ventura College, right? They've created an established industry of being able to move the football in multiple different ways no matter what they have. That's why Ventura's been so good over the years. But let's talk about these keys to victory for Moorpark College. You mentioned the first one, time of possession. My first point was give Cronquist the ball. Realistically at the end of the day. And then let's stop that football. I think these are 3 really good points. You brought up the next point. I'll let you explain a little bit here, Luke.
They need to stay ahead of the sticks. They really, really, really have to limit penalties and make sure those first down plays don't go backwards. The biggest thing is, in a passing offense, you need to keep yourself in a situation where you can have those 5-yard hitches open, to where you have to keep the safeties on their toes and be prepared to come up on a dig route. So then later on in the game, you can hit a shot play like a post over the middle.
I would say another good anecdote that we can add into that list, prevent making penalties in key situations. I can't remember how many times, but we could probably go back and look at the recordings of how many times the team was in a situation where they were second and manageable or third and manageable, and then a false start penalty just backs it up to now it's 3rd and long, and that just makes it even more difficult. So I think you're completely correct. Stay ahead of the sticks, minimize those negative plays. Penalties can become part of that equation. Something that Moorpark hasn't struggled too much with, but they've made mistakes in very key situations, which has cost them in prior games.
And to Allan Hancock's benefit, they are a very disciplined team. They have their game plan and they run it. They are a tight run team formation, and they do an excellent job at it. They average 238 rushing yards per game. That's something Moorpark kind of struggles with. They really need to make sure they batten down the hatches this week, and they need that front 7 to show up big time.
Yeah, that defensive line, we've talked about it week after week. It's been very effective for Moorpark. They've been able to sack quarterbacks. They've been able to spy on the run. The issue is teams like Mount San Jacinto a couple weeks ago were able to kind of shoot through some gaps and mix it up well enough where the defensive alignment was you weren't bringing the linebackers forward or you're leaving them out too far. And so a matter of recognizing exactly what they're going to do is a big part here. The Raiders, for what it's worth, have something to work with. They have played extremely well historically against Allan Hancock College. Allan Hancock College, year after year after year, has always continued to have a very interesting offense. And you guys will take notice as we get things going here in a few moments, where they like to play with just everybody stacked right in the middle. This is power eye football. This is exactly what you would expect to watch from game footage from 1952. It is very, very shocking to see in the 21st century, but they've done it well. They have a tradition of doing it, and interestingly enough, This is where they become effective, is when they swing their tight outs and their tight ends and wide receivers out into the flats and are able to move the football through the air that way. So that's my final thoughts, at least on Moorpark's keys to victory here.
Well, for Allan Hancock, they're coming on the road here. I mean, this is a tough task to ask coming into Griffin Stadium. Moorpark was undefeated last year here. This is not an easy place to play. So we will see if they're able to stick to their game plan. That's the biggest thing for them. You make them uncomfortable, then they start to pass, and it's going to start to struggle. And we are getting set for the coin toss. Before that, we are going to head to a short break, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back in just a few moments.
Well, a heck of a national anthem, Luke. Hi, everybody. I'm Emery Johnson alongside Luke Lamont, and we are getting ready for Raider football. The Bulldogs about to kick off to the Raiders. They won the coin toss. They have deferred to the second half, and we are getting ready to go. And we're just talking about it, Luke. Noah Cronquist obviously going to be back there to return, and Alicia Evans, he's been back there as well. We will see exactly how this is going to shake out. This is a really big game for the Raiders. This is a really big game for the Bulldogs to establish something in the WSC North, and I am excited to get things underway as we are down on the field with you guys right now. And my goodness, it is cold and chilly as the wind has picked up here at the top of the stadium. I put on my jacket, which is a very rare thing, but I hope you guys are enjoying the game wherever you may be, and we have a little bit of a change here. Mikey Holland will be on the other side of Cronquist. He is deep on the right side, as Cronquist will be near side and a little bit shallower around the 15-yard line. Set to kick off will be Aratha Costa, number 1 for Allan Hancock, and they are on the field and getting set, ready to go. Luke, how are you feeling? Excited for today's game?
I'm very excited for tonight's game. You know, it's a conference matchup. Got to bounce back from the last week loss. Both teams looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's a fresh week every week, and we are underway here at Griffin Stadium. Short kick, near side. This is going to be Cronquist. He takes it around the 15-yard line, stays around near side, cuts inside. He's up to the 30-yard line. He's going to make a move and jump forward and all the way down to the 35, and the Raiders going to start with decent field position as we are 14:52 seconds to go here in the first quarter, and we are underway at Griffin Stadium, everybody. That Raider offense out onto the field for the first time tonight, and we will see who is under center today, and it will be Croton. McLeod Croton on the season for right now, 1,279 yards, 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and he will start out of the gun right now. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right, handles the shotgun snap, looking right side, and fires behind his running back, Cameron Davis, who was actually wide open there on the near side. I think he just missed the throw.
Yeah, just a little bit of an underthrow there from Croton. And Davis, that's an often time we see him out in the flats. That's usually his main area he camps out at, and Croton hits him in the flats, usually picks up 5-7 yards. It's a good play for the Raiders, but it's good if you hit it on the first try.
Davis averaging 31.3 yards a game through the air, 13 receptions for 125 yards, no touchdowns, however. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right for Croton. Hands it off. Nope, fakes the handoff and throws well over the head of Charlie Simmons, who was just jumping, trying to make an attempt at the football, but that was well over his head. 3rd and 10 coming up, 14:44 on the clock to go.
Well, this is what we were talking about in the pregame. Moorpark has to stay ahead of the sticks. You go back-to-back incompletions that were wide-open receivers. These were easy completions for Croton to make and get some confidence early on. Now we're facing a 3rd down and long.
So 3rd and 10 coming up. Line to gain will be the 46-yard line. Croton takes a look over at his sideline, trying to get some final checks. Defensive Allan Hancock, 2 safeties up high. Everybody pressed down onto the line for now, or in man coverage. Shotgun snap here, and he's going to hand it off this time to Davis. Bounces off 1 tackle and dives forward, maybe gets a yard out of it, and that will be 3 and out for the Raiders on the first drive. Here comes the punting unit of the Raiders. Now, I believe it should be Daniel Burke coming out on the field. We'll see who is going to be doing the punting today. Unfortunate injury to Derek Mejia, who will not be punting. And yes, I am correct. Daniel Burke will be out, and we will see the return team for the Allan Hancock Bulldogs for the first time today, and I think it's Makai Puga, who's out deep for the Bulldogs, standing around his own 29-yard line. Punt is away. It's a good one, end over end. It's going to take a bounce and roll a little bit farther for the Raiders, and it will all the way inside the 20. So Daniel Burke does his job and is able to turn the field around, and the Bulldogs will start inside their own 20 on their first drive. 14 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
That's a big boost for the Allan Hancock defense. You know, you give up starting field position at the 35-yard line. Oftentimes that fares well for the offense, but then you go out there and you don't even go up a single yard. I mean, you forced 2 incompletions. Granted, the coverage could have been a little bit tighter for them on those plays, but then that 3rd down, you made a great stop. Defensive line got great pressure up front, and Davis had nowhere to go.
Yeah, I think the Raiders just needed to get a positive play in before that drive was over. I'm sure there's going to be some heavy words said to the offensive unit for the Raiders. All right, here we go. We have Jackson Clavel out. He is under center, and here we go with the I formation. 2 receivers out. He's going to hand it off first down and swallowed up into the middle of the I formation. Is the running back. I'll get a number for you here in a second as we check in. It's Ferrari Busby, the coolest name I have seen so far this season for a running back. Carries it for about 1 yard. We'll take it 2, so 2nd and 8 coming up.
Well, and you notice up top, Moorpark, they're putting an island up there at the 20-yard line. They're definitely game planning. They know Allan Hancock likes to run the football. They're trusting their corners big time today.
Yeah, well, and, Moorpark has a couple takeaways this season from that position, so definitely something to think about if you are the offensive Allan Hancock, and hit and blown up deep in his own side of the field. I think he only got up to the line of scrimmage. Nico Nares for the Raiders blows up the coverage. Check this out down on the field. My goodness. And you just see the linebackers making the penetration the way that they need to. There was nowhere to run. It looks like they maybe got a yard out of it. I thought he just got up to the line of scrimmage. But 13 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 3rd, and we will call it 7 as Allan Hancock gets ready to go as their receivers are out near side. And this is going to be 2 receivers near side. Okay, so heavy offensive package once again. Clavel under center. He has the deep I formation. And he delays the handoff for a second. He's going to hand it off to Ferrari again. Ferrari up for a couple yards here, and that's going to bring up 4th and 4. And we'll see the punting unit of the Bulldogs come back out onto the field. And a quick change of possession here for both teams on their first drives.
That was a great stop by Zayden Hoots. He made a great read, not getting faked out by the play action, then reads the draw, fills his gap. He stayed home and did a great job for Moorpark.
Yeah, I think that was just an excellent job on the defensive side, reading the runs, not letting the situation get too big. He did the delayed handoff, or he did the fake handoff for a second and looked like he was just going to go to throw. They stayed on it. They didn't buffer at all, and they let it happen. Here comes the punt from the Bulldogs to Cronquist. He fields it around his 37-yard line. Makes a move inside. Here comes the flag for the late hit, and he's going to be down the near sideline, but this is going to come all the way back as we have 2 flags out for, I think, a late hit and a block in the back.
That one was right in front of the referees.
Yeah.
That one, clear as day. That one was definitely the right call made there by the referees. I mean, you can clearly see when you're running down the field, if you are one of the return players, you can't hit someone going back towards your own end zone. You have to make sure you turn back and flip your hips to face where your offense is going to be going.
Well, the Raiders will have to assess one of the penalties. So I believe it's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. The spot of the foul is the 39-yard line. Make it a 10-yard penalty to the 29. The Raiders starting with decent field position regardless. They'll be just past a quarter of the field with 11:48 to go here in the first quarter. Croton will be out of the gun to start this drive. He has 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right on the near side. Delayed snap, handles it, throwing over the middle. This football is tipped and falls safely to the ground, but in on coverage, I believe it was number 59, Dalen Randell.
Well, Croton starting 0 for 3 on the game, but he's had 3 open receivers. That's just another one that I don't know if initially got away from the linebacker, was right in the lane and made a good job getting up to bat that one away, but it's not a good look when you're this unsettled this early and you go 0 for 3.
Yeah, Dalen Randell did have his hands up in the right time, right space, and this is going to be handed off. Another negative run in. The Raiders will start, I think they had 2 yards in the first drive, and this is now negative 5 yards. 3rd and 15 coming up here for the Raiders.
And you mentioned 3rd and 15. That's
14.
behind the sticks. That's not what this offense needs. They need to make sure they keep pace, and right now they are way behind schedule for the 2nd drive in a row.
Press coverage here on the near side. Croton looking over the field. He's throwing all the way here, throws into the flat, and this is going to be blown up immediately as Cameron Davis is tackled behind the line of scrimmage for another loss of 3 yards. So the Raiders going to be punting it away here deep in their own territory. 11:03 on the clock, ticking down.
That was a great play out in the flat, sticking on his man Keyshawn Pua, the leading tackler for the Bulldogs. Makes another great stop for them. And as you said, getting the ball back for the offense. 2 3-and-outs forced by that defense.
Makai Puga will be out deep again to return the football. Daniel Burke standing around his own 7-yard line. This is dangerous territory for the long snapper here. Burke, good snap. Time to kick, and it is a spiraling kick up, and it's going to land around the 50-yard line. Fair catch called, and there's going to be a flag for contact after the catch. And I don't know if it was really on the intentional fault of the Raiders there. It looked like he just fell into it. We'll have a really good angle of it here.
It did seem like that. That was Elisha Evans in the area for Moorpark, and it does seem, I mean, granted, you're not supposed to get close enough for that to be a potential as a gunner on kickoff, so at the end of the day, it's still going to be a penalty against the Raiders.
Yeah, I don't know if he saw him falling forward because his whole body was turned away from the football. It's relatively interesting, but they're going to assess it. And that will move the football up quite a bit, so the Bulldogs will have very good field position to start this second drive. Both teams 3 and out on their first, and the Raiders now 3 and out on their second. All the way up to the Raiders' 34-yard line, and man, this definitely looks like it's well within field goal range of Aratha Costa. If the Bulldogs are not able to move the football forward here, the Raiders defense charged with a big task early on in this first quarter. Throwing here on first down, hits his receiver. This is Elias Martinez down the near sideline, and they're going to have close to a first down, and they will, all the way up to the 23-yard line.
Well, name of the game so far is penalties. And we talked about it. Moorpark have done a great job all season avoiding these penalties, but here we are where they have a block in the back, kick-catch interference, and both those penalties lead Allan Hancock to have starting field position just outside of the red zone now, which they only need 3 yards to get there, and they have went 3 and out in their first drive. Nothing has necessarily been.
Clavel in the eye, hands it off here on first down, and diving forward is John Allan, who's going to be hit and able to gain what looks to be about 3 yards up to the 20-yard line.
Well, nothing's really been earned against this Raider defense. They've done a good job to start the game. It's just the offense has let them down so far.
So 2nd and 7 coming up from the 20-yard line. Line to gain will be the 13 of the Raiders. They're right on the cusp of the red zone here for the Bulldogs. 9:35 now ticking down. A big play for the Raiders defense is what's needed here. Toss in the backfield. This is going to be J.P. Lakutu. And that's just shy of the first down as he goes toward the far sideline. So 3rd and short coming up. And the Raiders defense just holding on here all the way up to the 15-yard line. Again, line to gain will be the 13 as we are under 9 minutes here in the first quarter.
This is where Moorpark needs that defensive line to step up. You need Nares, Casillas, Hoots, those guys to make a big play for you.
Clavel again in the eye, hands off. Allan along the far side, and I don't know if he had the edge there. We don't really have the reverse angle, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but the referee looks like he stopped a yard shy, so decision time for Rick Aguilar and the Bulldogs. Head coach Rick Aguilar now the 2 years on for the Allan Hancock Bulldogs.
Well, I think this is an easy decision. I mean, you're gifted great field position, 4th down and short, and you're a power run team. This is what you're built for. You're built for these situations, and this is how you're going to come away with a win here today, if you can convert 4th down and shorts.
Well, might we see the famed push as Clavel drops the football, and the football is down on the ground, and are they going to say it was what are they saying, that he was down by contact behind the line of scrimmage? We're going to need to watch a replay of this.
He did fall over. I think they're saying his knee was down before he ended up pitching it.
I think he had lost possession of the football.
It seemed like it at first look.
Let's watch this one more time. Look, he falls down and his knees are down behind the line of scrimmage. So he is down. The Raiders able to come up with the turnover here on 4th down. But, well, that's certainly the best possible option for the Raiders there. They don't get the 3 points on the board from Allan Hancock, and they are able to sustain getting the football back without giving up much of anything after giving up the football in bad territory after the penalty. 17:57 on the clock, and Croton onto the field, out of the gun. Fakes the handoff, rolling near side, and he's going to throw. Throwing 2. My goodness, I have the wrong stat sheet up. I was about to give you number 1 for Allan Hancock. Sir Tyson Moten, thank you very much, with the reception and the first positive play of the day for the Raiders en masse. That's a 9-yard gain for Moten all the way up to the 26-yard line. Line to gain will be the 27-yard line, and here we go. What is the name of this play here where we're talking about just pushing on the butt of the quarterback?
The tush push is what it has been claimed to
Now,
be.
I want to preface something. I believe Luke actually said he wanted to see this as we have Croton into the pile. He's being pushed forward, and we'll say that he has the line to gain. The referees are saying I think he had it. I am not totally sure if he
right about
did.
there. It might as well line it up again.
Here we go. Call it for the chase. First down, Raiders. Okay.
There's one off the bucket list.
Yeah, we
only
got the
8 minutes into the
out
game.
Of the way.
There
8
we
minutes
go.
down. Perfect. Okay.
Popularized by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, this is the new Philly special, should I say? But you know your favorite team of all time, Luke, popularized really by Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, should I say. Croton now back to real time, throwing over the middle, and this one into dangerous area. My goodness, it was intended for Noah Cronquist, but streaking over was Jatavius Franklin, who had an opportunity to catch that football, but he was just behind it as well. I think that ball was thrown into space.
And Croton right now, he only got one completion. That was a little dink off on the play action. That was good to Moten to get him a little boost of confidence, but you got to go out there and complete these passes. These are open receivers that are costing Moorpark yards, and their defense is going to lose patience at some point, and they've been doing a great job. They just got you a huge stop. You need to boost the morale.
Yeah, stretching the football downfield is definitely something important. Croton, quarterback keeper here near side. He's going to be running up to the 33-yard line. That's going to be enough for a gain of 5, make it 6 yards. So we'll have 3rd and 4 coming up here. Check that 3rd and 5. Not a bad decision.
No, not a bad decision at all. You make it 3rd down and manageable. That's what we're talking about, staying ahead of the sticks. Now you get in a situation where your whole playbook is open. A run isn't totally out of the question here. I would like to see Davis swing out to the flats, and if he's open, Croton needs to check it down to him.
Tie press coverage here on the near side. Croton throwing on 3rd down, fires over the middle, finally hits Tyson Moten for a 1st down. He makes a move, breaks a tackle all the way down the near sideline, tackled and thrown out of bounds. But finally, a big offensive play for the Raiders, and Adarius Odom is the one who finally makes the tackle for the Bulldogs. But my goodness, that is a good completion, and this is the play they've been trying to complete all day, and finally Croton makes the throw. My goodness. Quickly underway again, and there's going to be a short run up the middle. Good for a gain of 4 yards.
Just to show how quick that Moorpark offense is, the chains are not even set yet, and they're ready to run their 2nd play of this sort of 1st down package.
Cameron Davis on a gain of 4. Now the chains are not set in the proper position. We'll get that up to you, updated in a second here. Throwing here on 2nd down, getting tackled, and he's hit, and the football's on the ground, but I think he was marked down before the football comes out. So a sack is going to erase the positive play as the Raiders are going to lose yards on this play back to the 37-yard line.
Well, that was Darian Perotho on the sack. That's his 2nd of the season. He had 1 coming into this game. And now we face another 3rd down and long.
Yeah, 3rd down and 12 coming up. I still don't know if the chains have been set in the proper position.
It seems like 3rd down and 12, but again.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is 3rd down and 12 according to the officials, but here's the throw to Cronquist, makes a move inside, cuts inside, and falls over after a gain of 5 yards, and decision time for Mike Stewart. Do you bring out Daniel Burke, or do you try to bring it to the 4th down and see what your offense can take care of? Burke has made a field goal from 38 yards this season.
Well, this one 57 out if they were to go for it from here.
So they're going to choose to go for it here on 4th down. Or might we see the quick kick from Croton? Fires, near side, hits Cronquist, and that's a 1st down for the Raiders, able to convert on 4th down. So the first 3rd down and the first 4th down conversion for the Raiders so far on this drive, and they're finally getting this football moved with 4:11 to go here in this 1st quarter. And my goodness, time is flying by.
And that was great awareness by Cronquist. He got exactly 1 yard past the sticks, sat down, and fell forward to ensure that he was far enough for the 1st down. Great awareness by their star wide receiver.
Croton, no time to throw here. He's under pressure, fires over the middle, deep into the end zone, and this one's going to fall incomplete. Tyson Moten was in the area, but you did see a couple players from the Bulldogs as well in that kind of danger zone is what I would call it. That was Aaron Small and Trent Kimmel.
Well, now we have Charlie Simmons in the backfield. And not often we've seen him at running back. Usually splits out
no
at wide
stats.
receiver.
I'm
He
just
did play running back in high school as well. Had 200 rushing yards in his senior season.
Well, he's going to be out of the backfield, takes the pass, running far side, and he's going to be on the way to the 10-yard line for a first down, and the Raiders deep into the red zone.
And that's why you put him in the backfield. He's a very elusive receiver, really sharp routes. Against a linebacker, that's a mismatch all day long.
Watch this. He just goes completely unmarked, and you see that's number 11, Keyshawn Pua, who is their number 1 defensive player, completely behind him. He's not able to make any attempt to try and catch him. And, well, good play design here for the Raiders as we see now their attempt to copy the Allan Hancock Bulldogs offense. Power toss over to the left side. Gabriel Landless trying to get forward, and he's going to be hit down after a gain of 1 yard. It looks like, second and now. Yeah, we'll talk it 2nd and 9. Line to gain will be the 1 yard line, so it's not quite goal yet. 2:57 ticking down here in the first quarter.
Well, that play was blown up by Dalen Randall. He got great interior pressure. Landless could not get outside. He did a good job cutting it up to salvage the play.
Well, heavy offensive line here, and they will fake the handoff as Croton gets hit in the backfield. Luckily, gets the football away. So incomplete 3rd down and 9 coming up, 2:40 to go. And now the real question is, what is that 3rd down and technically goal play in your playbook here?
I would say something over the middle, because if you come up short, you can easily set Burke up for a field goal through the middle of the field.
And they're going to say intentional grounding. Can we watch that one more time, Shalette? I think there might be nobody in the area is potentially what happened.
The ball did not pass the line of scrimmage.
Ah, well, yeah, there you go.
So I assume that could be what they called, as well as there was no one in the area.
Yeah, so loss it down.
So the ball needs to get past the 10.
Yeah,
it doesn't even get close to that.
No, not at all.
So, I mean,
so the referees make the right call.
That's the right call.
Yeah, that's the right call. I was confused because it came so late.
And yeah, sometimes they throw the intentional grounding after talking it through. And
so 3rd and now forever, but basically 3rd and goal from the 17-yard line. What is the play call here?
You got to run a clear out for either Simmons or Moten coming from the right side over the middle of the field to set up a potential field goal for Burke, and if they get blocks, maybe they can spring something loose.
Yeah, here we go. Snap handled, Croton running for his life, firing, and this football is almost intercepted as it's in and out of the hands of River Stout, and my goodness, another dangerous moment. So bring up 4th down, and here comes the kicking unit. Daniel Burke is going to have to attempt the first points of the game for either team as you have 2:34 on the clock here in the first quarter.
That wasn't a bad play design at all. I mean, if he's able to have his feet set on that throw, but he couldn't because of the pressure, Stout has a chance to easily catch that pass and run for an extra 5-6 yards, which should set up a lot easier of a field goal for Burke. But now he's attempting. Let's see, I try to do some quick math.
It's going to be a 34-yard field goal. So here comes the 34-yard field goal from Burke. Low snap, set down good. This one end over, and it looked left. We'll see what the referees say. No good. So the Raiders not able to convert on their first trip down into the red zone, and they will turn the football over. And here comes the offense of the Bulldogs as we have 2:34 on the clock. Score is 0-0 in the first quarter.
Well, that field goal attempt now bumps Burke down to 50% on the season. He's now 4 for 8 on his kicks.
And mind you, this is a pretty tricky kick right now. The wind is at our back right now, so if you're looking at the perspective of the camera, that means that the wind is coming from our back, and it's going to be going to the left where he did eventually miss the field goal. First running play over towards the near side for the Bulldogs. That's going to be up to the 25-yard line, a gain of 5, and they will have 2nd and 5 coming up. We have just been notified that there are sandwiches up here at the booth. My goodness. Luke, this may be some of the greatest news I have heard in a long time. Bulldogs 2nd and 5 from the 25-yard line. Line to gain will be the 30. Under center once again. 2 receivers out to his right. Clavel hands it off here on second down, and a big hole and a run all the way up through the middle, and we have a solo tackle that needs to be made. It will not be made just yet. 39 Caden Harris is making the run of his life all the way down to the 7-yard line. No flags out on the field, and my goodness, that is the explosive offensive play that they were looking for, and we were talking the Raiders need to be able to prevent from the running side of the game.
Well, if you watch the safety, Vincent Willett, usually a quarterback, but he's found his way onto the defense. He had to fill on that play, and he takes his first step outside, slips on his way back in, and that's what allowed the running back to break free. A great job in pursuit there, though, by the Raiders to stop this touchdown. That was Curtis Jackson.
Yeah, Curtis Jackson. This football down on the 10-yard line, and now in the red zone very quickly after 1 or 2 plays. 10-13 on the clock. And the Bulldogs threatening to score here. They were not able to get it done last time. Can the Raiders defense do something here? Clavel hands it off here on first down and blown up behind the line of scrimmage. At least at 2, the line of scrimmage is going to be Ferrari Busby. We'll see if he gets stopped, and he does. He takes a loss all the way down to the 11. So 2nd and goal from the 11-yard line.
Well, that's the perfect response. You need your defensive leader to step up after a huge play like that. And what happens? Peyton Casillas, tackle for loss. That gives the defense sort of a breather. They get to calm down now and really focus in on these next 3 plays.
Run towards the near sideline, making a move and dumping in is Caden Harris, and he's going to be hit at the 4. So a positive play here on 2nd down from the 11. 3rd and 4 coming up as we are going to tick under the 4th, or tick all the way down to 0-0 here in the first quarter. You're watching Raider football on SoCal College Sports. We're going to take a quick break, and we will come right back on the opposite side of the field for the 2nd quarter and the end of this first half. Well, Boy Scouts of America is the nation's largest and most prominent values-based youth organization, and they are one of today's game sponsor, but we will get underway as we have a snap out of the shotgun and blown up behind the line of scrimmage. A big defensive play of the Raiders, reading something of trickery from the Allan Hancock Bulldogs that was directly snapped to Tapuo, who was not able to do anything with it, and he loses a yard on the play, so 4th and 5 coming up.
That was number 90 up in the middle, Arnulfo Morales. He's one of the staples of that front 7, really big guy, and he takes up a lot of blocks usually, but that time nobody could get a hand on him.
Well, we're going to see Arath Acosta come on for the short little chip shot. This will be approximately 22 yards from the center hash. And that was a big 3rd down stop for the Raiders, and they do exactly what they needed to do. Snap was good. The hold was down a little bit late, but this one is up and through. So 3-0, the Bulldogs take it after getting really good field position off of the big run in the 2nd play of this drive. And we will turn things around. But you're watching Raider football here on SoCal College Sports and the Raider Sports Network. Well, it appears we've had a power surge here up at the booth, so we're apologizing for the brief little missed incident here, but the Raiders able to return the football pretty well all the way up to the 43-yard line, and we return here with Croton throwing over the middle and a pass that was caught, oh my goodness, by River Stout. Holy cow. And that's enough for a first down, as that was a 3rd and 7, if I'm not mistaken.
That is a huge grab by River Stout. And he got absolutely clocked on the play by Keyshawn Pua, but amazing concentration being able to hold on to that football.
Croton throwing into pressure. That was tipped by Trent Kemmel as he was diving towards the football trying to make the catch there.
And that's where you got to put a little bit more air under it, give Simmons a chance. There was a safety creeping up over top, but Simmons, he understands with that route that you're probably going to take that hit, so you got to give him the chance to at least haul that one in.
So second receivers to his left, one to his right. Croton still in the gun. He has Davis beside him. Hands the football off here in second down, and Davis is going to be blown up behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of 3 on the play.
And that was one of the biggest issues last week. Negative 10 total team rushing yards. Still went over those, but it's not sustainable. Moorpark cannot expect to win this football game if you're losing yards every time you hand the ball off.
Well, I mean, it's just you got to bring in the extra blocker or have some sort of split running back situation where you're going to have somebody taking a block so you can at least get the football past the line of scrimmage. Pass thrown over the middle. This one deflected and knocked down by Keyshawn Pua. So that will go to 4th down and now long, and the Raiders are going to be forced to bring the punting unit back out onto the field, at least for now, or we will see something else happen. Nope, it's the punting unit. So Daniel Burke will come back out on the field, and we will see Makai Puga out for the Bulldogs.
That's just another one of those drives that we've seen pretty much all game from Moorpark. Yeah, you have a run that goes for a loss, a couple open receivers where the pass is either overthrown or batted down, so it's just little miscues.
This football returned around the 15-yard line, and being hit up and blown up is going to be Puga, as he was totally knocked down after catching the football. Again, only a gain of a couple of yards there. So the Bulldogs are going to have to start deep in their own territory at the 18-yard line, and we will see their now 4th drive of the game.
And Moorpark, they really need to be strong here in defense. You give up a huge run play that last drive that really set up the field goal. You did a good job having the goal line stand. The goal line stand was very solid. Your front 7 showed up when you needed it to. But the secondary really needs to start playing downhill. You need to play man coverage and have those safeties fly up.
Under center is going to be Clavel. He's looking to throw here on first down. The second time they've done that, football almost picked off, but it's going to be held on to by what looks to be number 87 or 83. No, it is 83, Elias Martinez. So his second catch of the game and a gain of 8 yards, as that football was almost ripped out of his hands immediately.
Well, and that was Burton Placid on the coverage. That's what we're talking about, the aggressiveness. Those corners need to stay aggressive. Everybody in the secondary needs to get their hands dirty this game. This is not a game where you can sit back and knock down passes and celebrate all game. You got to get in and stop the run.
2nd down and 1 now coming up. Strong I formation with 2 receivers out, throwing here on 2nd down. Clavel, time to throw, fires a deep pass over the middle. He's going to have a receiver broken up, and an unbelievable defensive play from Curtis Jackson over the middle. My goodness, Luke, you talked about it. Tell me about that play right there.
Now it's time to celebrate. That was a great play by Curtis Jackson. We've seen it so far early in this game, in that long run from Allan Hancock. He's got great recovery speed. He did a great job flying back there. Perfect timing, shooting his hands in with the receiver. Didn't get there too early. A perfect play for Moorpark's best secondary player.
I got to say, that pass from Clavel couldn't have been better placed. I mean, that was a very well-thrown football, and my goodness, what a defensive play by Curtis Jackson. Well, 3rd down and short coming up, and we have a flag for a false start, and that's exactly how the Raiders want that to go, with 11:39 to go here in the first half, as we will see the football back up another 5 yards. 3rd and 6 coming up.
If you take a look at how Moorpark aligned on this last play just before the false start, the safety is sitting at 8 yards. Linebackers are up at 3-4 yards. It's exactly what you need to do against a team that plays these kind of formations. And these cornerbacks know they are on an island. They have no over-top help.
3rd down and 6 coming up. Throwing here on 3rd down as this pass is caught, and it's going to be enough for a 1st down for Makai Puga as he's able to get the chains moving. But that was, man, I think in terms of defensive looks, that's the most proper offense Allan Hancock has thrown out today, and that was at least well handled by the Raiders to prevent the big play. Yes, they moved the chains, but I think this is a little more positive here.
It was well hit. Curtis Jackson once again on the coverage. He does a great job, doesn't give up anything deep. He does give up the first, as you said, but that's one of those times where Walea, the safety, was flying down. He almost got to that interception. If he was just a second earlier, he could have had his hands on the ball.
Throwing here, and this is a whole bunch of throwing plays back in a row, and catching the football is going to be Puga again as he's all the way down to the 40-yard line, a yard shy of the 1st down as well. Clock still moving. We're almost under 11 minutes to go here in the first quarter, or in the first half.
And 3 plays in a row made by Curtis Jackson. There's another one. He does stop him just shy of the first, and while he's giving up yards on these plays, he's aggressive. He's flying up there trying to make a play, and that's exactly what he's doing.
It makes you wonder exactly what they're trying to set up here. Is Allan Hancock really actually forcing the throw plays, or are they trying to set up a run play here as this drive continues? Clavel hands it off here, and this football was jumbled for a second, but making a strong run up the middle is going to be number 49, who is the fullback, and I do not have him on my quick sheet. Where is my stat sheet? 49. That's going to be Ibarra, and he had a big gain up the middle.
That's only his 4th carry on the entire season. But right there, Walea just saved a touchdown. You miss that tackle or you get run over on that play, and he's still running past the black paint, and it was a great play. He filled. He got downhill. He fixed his mistake from the last drive, and that's exactly what you want to see from a safety.
So just shy of no man's land here at the middle of the field. Clavel under the gun again, or under the center again, hands the football off, and it's going to be a nice run for John Allan as he brings it up. It looks to be another 6 yards, so we'll have 2nd and 4 coming up at 10:06 on the clock left to go here in the first quarter, or first half.
Pushing Cahoon on the stop. Pick up a 6 on the play, brings up 2nd and 4.
Now we got the receivers in their own little huddle up top for Allan Hancock. A little bit of confusion for who's going out there, but 2 of them stay split.
I formation again. Clavel hands it off. This one to Luquetu. He's going to be hit after a gain of 2 yards along that left side of the line.
It's another great tackle and rally from Moorpark. That's one thing that hasn't really been mentioned a lot, is it's not one person making these tackles on the run plays, at least. Pass plays, typically it's been C.J. Jackson every single time. But the run plays, the defensive line gets there first, and those linebackers are filling hard downhill. They do a great job at wrapping up and bringing the running back down.
So potentially a really big 3rd down here as they are just past midfield. The Bulldogs have to make it down to the Raiders' 42-yard line, and could we see a passing play as we have the offset eye for the Bulldogs? Throwing here on 3rd down, firing on the move and making the pass, and was the football caught? It was, and that will be a complete pass to Makai Puga, who will have the 1st down to the Raiders' 30, will mark it 7-yard line. Check that 38-yard line.
Well, Puga coming into this game with only 6 receptions, gets another one there, only for 73 yards. As we know, Allan Hancock, not a heavy pass team, but he's one of their leading receivers. He's 2nd in yards, only to Collins Petaway.
Well, they have certainly broke the mold here in this drive as they have thrown, I would say, for a higher percentage than they have ran the football here, as they are back into the I formation. Clavel about to go under center, 2 receivers to his left as he has his fullback and running back in. Handed off. This one is blown up in the backfield, but making a move and running towards the near sideline is going to be Caden Harris, as he has a gain of 2 yards at this point. Yep, we'll call it 2, but it looked like he almost was going to lose yards on the play as the clock has stopped at 8:06. And the referee is calling for the clock to continue to move.
That's really the only negative to say about Moorpark is the outside's a little bit weak. The outside's been given up handful of times, and that's one thing they really need to strengthen up because out of I-form, stretch plays are dangerous.
Yeah, that's what's been really effective here today. One-on-one tackle situation need to be made and a catch and run for Puga again as he's able to squirt up for another 5 yards, and it will be 3rd down and 3 coming up, line to gain again, the 28-yard line. Big 3rd down situation as they're now moving into that field goal territory for their kicker, Aratha Costa.
Well, right now, that entire team needs to be thanking Curtis Jackson. He's had a handful of open field tackles, as you mentioned, one-on-one. He does another great job there in the bubble screen. He's made every single passing play tackle so far.
This has been what's prevented any scores from happening on this drive, I think, very much so. And look at this, the Bulldogs back into an offset I formation. Will they throw here on 3rd down, moving, and we have the power toss towards the near sideline. John Allan trying to catch the edge, and I don't think he had it. The Raiders able to make a stand here on 3rd down, and a big defensive play, and we were talking about getting those linebackers in motion and not sucked into the middle, and I think that is exactly what it is, learning things from Coach Luke Lamont here. And the Raiders able to stop them here on 3rd down as he was just able to get back up to the line of scrimmage. What do you do now if you're the Bulldogs?
I think you got to go for it in this situation. Got to play aggressive. And going back to that 3rd down, you want to know who made the tackle? Curtis Jackson.
Curtis Jackson able to get on that stat board again, and you know what? He had a point-saving tackle or a pass breakup earlier and able to do that once again. I mean, that is such a dangerous play, and here we go. Do we have the tush push for 5 yards? And we will see a timeout called by the Bulldogs as they want to talk things over. We'll take a break ourselves. You're watching Raider football on the Raider Sports Network here on SoCal College Sports. Well, a big 4th down situation for the Bulldogs. It's 6:19 left to go here in this first half, and they have the football on the Raider 33. They have to gain 5 yards to get the first down to the 28-yard line, and they will be in I formation again. Clavel going to have to move his football forward. And we will see a false start from the offensive line. We'll see who moved first, but definitely that was number 56, Peko Lisiolagi, if I enunciated that correctly, but we will see exactly what happened. The Raider defense definitely pointing, and they have a big decision to be made from the white cap here. And we're going to say false start on the offense. And that is potentially going to change the plan here for the Bulldogs after they just burnt the timeout.
And that was close. I mean, on the
really
replay,
close, yeah.
The 2 interior defensive tackles from Moorpark definitely move, but they do not enter the neutral zone.
I don't want to say that it might have been potentially encroachment. I don't know.
It's a gray area penalty call.
Yeah,
If the referees had replay, maybe they could make a bet. At the end of the day, they don't. It's a false start, and we got 4th down and 10.
And we have the Bulldogs still out on the field, so I guess no trust in their punting here on 4th down. Clavel will be under center, handles the snap. I don't know if they know what the down is, throwing deep towards the near sideline. This pass broken up, and it will be a beautiful pass breakup from Burton Placide as he's able to get his hands in there. My goodness, that will be a big turnover, and the Raiders able to get the football on good field position.
I'm extremely impressed by the Moorpark defensive backs. I mean, this has been picture-perfect coverage in pass breakups so far. They've given up the short routes, yeah, but anything past 10 yards, it is a no-fly zone from the Raiders.
This is exactly what they've been needing to do, basically.
Absolutely.
Coming into this game, your assignment is do not allow the long ball. We will take the nickel and dime. They're going to be forced to run the football at a certain point. We trust our guys to make plays. Handoff here on first down, and this is going to be blown up in the backfield immediately as Gabriel Landless had nowhere to go. He was met by a number of defenders. It was Malo Ino and Brody Tucker. That was pretty much dead to begin with. Football now placed on the 35-yard line. Line to game will be the 48 of the Raiders. 5:53 to go here in the first half. Decent-sized crowd here as it is Alumni Day at Griffin Stadium. I just checked in down at the booth. Alumni from 2014 to 2017. Cronquist takes the pass on the near side. He's able to make a move, gets hit once and back down. He is brought down around the 42-yard line, so a decent gain bringing up 3rd and 7. And this will be at least a little bit better of a look than 3rd and 10 as the Raiders, with another 3rd down situation, need to keep that defense off the field so that they can rest their legs. Even though halftime is coming up, I mean, my goodness, they've been on the field for a long time today.
You definitely have to.
Empty set here for Croton, throws the football to Cronquist. Cronquist able to jump forward, maybe up to the 44-yard line, and now 4th, and we'll call it 4 coming up for the Raiders as we see the punting unit coming out on the field, and the defense will be charged with another big stoppage.
I think the decision right there was get your playmaker the ball, see if he can get you a first down, but if not, now you're in a position where Berg can pin them deep. He can get this punt well within inside the 20, maybe even the 10-yard line. And then Moorpark's playing for the 2-minute game. They're trying to get off the field as quick as they can and get a score right before half. They sort of wrote off that drive on that 3rd down and long.
Daniel Burke waiting for his long snapper to come onto the field, and he is now out there. And we will have a timeout called by the Raiders as their personnel was mixed up, and I don't think they had enough players even on the field to count right now.
Raider fans, take a walk on the
I think they actually only had 10 guys on the field. Oh, goodness. Let's see.
Come face to face with wild animals from around the world in one of the fun-filled animal
8, 9, 10. Yeah, they only had 10 guys. Oh, gosh. Well,
I mean, that's a good decision calling a timeout. That's going to be important. And we finally get some sunlight hitting the field for the first time today.
Yeah. I don't think it's made it any warmer. The wind is extremely cold as we have this overcast. This is not sunny Southern California. I was promised 72 and sunny. My goodness.
It's one of the biggest lies of California is that every day is 72 and sunny. It's only about 95% of them.
Yeah, 95. And then the other days it's 117 degrees outside and you think you're in Arizona. Low snap here, handled well by Daniel Burke. He gets the kickoff in time. This one going to be end over end and quick as the football is going to be fielded by Makai Pugo as he will have a nice return all the way up to the 33-yard line.
And now Moorpark needs, realistically, if you're not going to call your timeouts to try to get the ball back, you only have 2 left, it's going to be the case where Moorpark needs a 3-and-out if they want the ball back.
Bulldogs taking over on the 33-yard line. 4 minutes to go here in the first half. Things move certainly pretty quick when you're running the football. A lot of the plays pass over near side, and this one's going to be hit just past the line of scrimmage. They've been doing this on first down quite often to Makai Puga. And he will come off the field. Yes, he will. He'll check out. So a 2-yard gain, second and 8. Line to gain will be the 43-yard line. And the Bulldogs clearly with a completely different offense than we were expecting now that they're throwing the football a lot more.
They're definitely expanding the playbook. They're trying to catch Moorpark off guard, and so far they've not been able to.
This play blown up in the backfield and a huge tackle for loss as the Raiders, my goodness. And that was 39 Marcus Clowis blowing up the huge play.
This is perfect. 3rd down and long now forced by the Raider defense. They have a great opportunity to get the ball back. Only a minute has ticked off the clock. Be about 2.5 left after this play.
And it's certainly they've been taking their time as now we're under 10 on the play clock.
I think Moorpark really, really needs their offense back out on the field, and they need to show something, signs of life, especially get points on the board before this half. In a low-scoring game, being shut out at halftime always leads to bad things.
And another timeout is going to have to be called by the Bulldogs, I believe, or a delay of game. And there's no flag out on the field, but there's a delay of game. Okay, so a delay of game, that's going to back it up another 5 yards. And now the Raiders defense with a huge opportunity to get that offense out. And Luke, I think to aid to your point, they've been really actually very effective at moving the football in the 2-minute drill today. And maybe this could be that opportunity where they will start with what should be decent field position if they force the punt here.
Spread formation.
Yeah, oh my goodness, Clavel out of the gun. Somebody call the presses. Clavel out of the gun, hands it off, and that's going to be blown up at the line of scrimmage, but still fighting to make a move is Ferrari Busby as he's going to be knocked down after a gain of 5. It's not going to be enough, and here comes the punting unit for the Bulldogs.
One of the things I wanted to mention that I just noticed that makes that breakup from Placide downfield even more impressive. He has a club on one hand. His right hand is completely taped up into a massive ball.
I can see it right now. It's like he's got a football on his hand.
Playing one-on-one man coverage against a wide receiver on an island with only one hand, and to play it as well as he did, is incredibly impressive.
And we will have a timeout here. So we are not going to take a timeout ourselves. But I will talk about a couple of our sponsors. We do have a couple halftime sponsors as well. The Alumni Association of Moorpark College. They will be up here, as well as the Chamber of Commerce of the City of Moorpark. And then I want to make a really big shout out to my favorite of all time, In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger is all about.
You trying to get like a personal sponsorship from them?
Absolutely.
Make a big statement every game.
Absolutely.
From them.
I make a big statement. You know, the one in Simi Valley just got nugget ice like about a year ago.
Really?
It's
wow.
it's game changing. It really is.
Shapes of ice.
Acosta able to get the kickoff. The spiraling side to side. Cronquist will make the catch, but he's going to drop the football, and the football will be down in the pile as the whistles will be blown almost immediately. And I have hands up signaling for a Bulldog football, and that's what they're going to call it. We're going to have to see this one more time. I thought he was down by contact before the football came out.
Well, he sheds the first one.
He drops the football. Oh, no. And you never want to leave it up to the pile, so that is going to be a muffed punt.
And that changes everything. Moorpark was getting the ball back with 2:30. That's exactly what they were hoping for. That's what they game planned the last drive for once they realized they weren't picking up any yards. And then you go out there, you don't fair catch a punt when a guy's right next to you, and referees do confirm Allan Hancock ball, but
yeah.
That's tough for Moorpark.
Yeah, Cronquist, I think, just did not make the right decision there. He should have called the fair catch.
You have to.
Right in his face.
And I understand what he's trying to do. He's an excellent punt returner. 2 punt return touchdowns on the season. I understand what he's going for there. Thinks the offense needs a spark, good field position at the least. And now in turn, he costs his offense a possession, and the defense really needs to make a stand here.
2:27 on the clock left to go here in the first half. The Bulldogs lead at 3-0 as we have the I formation out for the Bulldogs once again. Faked handoff, looking to throw here is Clavel, shooting forward, throwing under duress. This football is underthrown, and there was a lot of hand fighting going on between Curtis Jackson and the intended receiver, which I think was number 17, Michael Jordan. Not to be confused with Michael Jordan, the basketball player. I just needed to make sure you
Must
guys
clarify.
Must clarify. From the 35-yard line, 2:21, the clock is stopped, and that was another good defensive play by Curtis Jackson.
And Moorpark's defense right now is doing a great job. I would say they're playing some of the best defense, if not the best, we've seen all season, especially in that secondary.
And we have more whistles from the referees. Uh-oh. There is an Adventist health sign out on the field, everybody.
Health sign that came onto the field. Reminds you of a great sponsor of Moorpark.
And we have the PA announcer promptly attacking very well here. The audience needs to know that Adventist Health is a proud sponsor of Moorpark Raiders football, and we will happily tell you that as well.
Smooth transition.
Yeah, smooth transition. So if you're in the Ventura County, Simi Valley area, just always know that Adventist Health is definitely an option for your healthcare services, and we will have a timeout called by the Bulldogs. And my goodness,
Bulldogs.
Luke, what needs to happen here for the Raiders?
They need to just play the way they did in that last drive. They played perfectly. I mean, it's second down and long. The clock stopped thanks to the incomplete pass. If I'm Allan Hancock, I do not put the ball in the air another time this entire half. You run the ball every single play. You take this clock all the way down, because if you go into halftime with the lead and you get the ball back because you deferred the opening kick, you set yourself up for a great situation, especially if you're able to score. If you strike quick enough, you can get a 17-point lead, potentially, against the Raiders before they even see the ball again.
Yeah, they did defer. They do get the football back, and it is all about the Raiders defense making a stand here. 2:21 on the clock, 2nd and 10 coming up as they were throwing on first down, and they've done that a couple times here. We'll see what they dial up on second down. It looks to be an offset eye for the Bulldogs as they get ready to go under center. Clavel ready to handle the football. He has two receivers out to his left, offset eye formation again with the strong fullback throwing here on the run, able to hit his number one receiver, Puga, for tonight's game. And that is going to be caught for a gain of 5 yards up to the 30-yard line. Line to gain will be the 25, 3rd and 5 coming up with 2:07 on the clock. The real question is, if this play goes for no yards, will they go for it on 4th down or bring out their kicking unit once again? It would tell me they go for it on 4th down.
I would say you got to go for it. As long as you don't lose yards, go for it.
Yeah.
In a game that's 3-0 and you have the lead, that's the time to be aggressive.
Fullback in and the offset once again. One receiver to his left, one to his right, handoff all the way, and this one's blown up behind the line of scrimmage as John Allan is going to be knocked down for a loss of a yard, and this will be back to the 31-yard line, and 4th down coming up in decision time again for Rick Aguilar, the head coach of the Bulldogs.
Attention Raider fans, will you stay in your seats for halftime as the voice of Betty Jean Baker will be
And the clock is stopped. I believe someone had to have called the timeout.
God bless America.
Trying to figure out exactly.
I would assume it would be Moorpark to call the
Yeah.
timeout.
Yeah.
You make them really think about this 4th down, and you stop the clock. So Allan Hancock, no matter what they do here, as long as it's not a 1st down, the clock stops. So that's a good call by Moorpark there, calling the timeout and really forcing their hand to where they're almost challenging Allan Hancock. We think we're better than you, and we can stop you on this play.
Yeah, I think the Raiders, outside of just a couple huge miscues, that just in key situations for the Raiders on offense, they've actually played a very good game against Allan Hancock. You know, who's to say that they aren't the better team on the field? I think they are the better team on the field currently.
I would say so far they have played better.
Well, 4th and 6 coming up. Arath Acosta out on the field. This will be the longest field goal of the season for him, 2 point. This is 48 yards, and Cronquist is deep in the end zone on his own side to potentially return this, as the kick is up and low, and Cronquist is going to not have an opportunity to return.
You know he wanted to.
Yeah.
He had a lot of green grass.
Wait,
Actually,
he is going.
can.
He's on the way. The play is not blown dead. Oh, now it is. I was going to say.
It depends where the football landed.
We're going to have him run all the way back, and
That field goal is being returned for a Raider touchdown.
well, I hear the PA announcer calling a Raider touchdown. I think the referees are going
whistle's
to talk
blew.
about this. Yeah, the whistle was blown.
It cannot be a touchdown because the whistle's blue. So there will be no touchdown.
I will
for
stipulate
Moorpark.
I've seen weirder things happen at this level of football, but I generally agree with you.
By rule, that is also, Allan Hancock needs to realize you have to cover kicks. That's something we used to practice on PAT and field goal. If the field goal attempt is short, it is a live ball. But I believe if it lands in the end zone, it is considered dead and a touchback
Well,
at
now
that
we see
point.
Coach
Not
Mike's-
touchback, but it goes to where the kick was.
So now we see Coach Mike Stewart up on the screen right now. You can see him talking to the referees, and he's got a big old smile on his face asking, what in the world are you guys talking about? Obviously, it was not returned for a touchdown. That's what's going to go down as, but I'm sure there is a huge conversation as to what was going on. The whistle was even late. I don't even think the referees knew what was going on.
The whistle didn't blow until Cronquist was at the 40-yard line.
Exactly. I was concerned. I thought the play was dead because I presumed that the football ended up in the end zone.
But they will spot Moorpark at the 30-yard line.
Okay, well.
And that's one of those judgment calls.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it landed in the end zone or just short. It seemed like it landed a little bit past.
It was in the end zone to my recollection, but, I mean, who knows?
So at the end of the day, another good call by the officials.
Yeah. Gosh, I've never given a compliment to the officials.
Well, this is one of those times where I believe they deserve one. They've done a great job.
They're not pulling an Angel Hernandez right now, which I think is really good. Nobody's been ejected for – never mind. I'm not going to Well, the Raiders will take over on their own 30-yard line. 1 minute and 15 seconds left to go on the clock here in the first half. Croton handles the shotgun snap, looking to throw here on first down. Here comes the pressure. He's running away, and he stays on his feet, able to get the football away as this one is long. Cronquist reaches over the top and incomplete. Oh, he makes the catch.
It was
well,
incomplete.
The referee,
instead
of him, said that the call was made. That's why I'm saying it. But I am interested to see what in the world just happened. Yeah, now signaling for incomplete.
It looked like when he hit the ground, he lost control of it, but it looked like he did catch it at first. He
has the football there, and the football pops out. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Well, contrary to the verbiage of the ground cannot cause a fumble, you can absolutely drop the football and not complete it all the way to the ground by your contact with the ground. So, unfortunately, that will be an incomplete pass. I was calling it based on the referee, so I apologize for the miscue there. But 2nd and 10 coming up. Line to gain will be the 41-yard line. Check that. They are on the 31-yard line with 1:06 left to go here in the first half. Croton going to be out of the gun. He has his back beside him, shifting him back over to the other side. It looks like Charlie Simmons is in the backfield right now, and we have whistles for nobody's sure.
Delay of game.
Delay of game, okay. That's certainly not helping. That will bring it back to the 26-yard line.
I'd like to see them get the ball in space here. I'd like to see either a screen or a clear out for a drag coming underneath just to pick up some yards. Make it 3rd down and manageable, and don't even chance giving the ball back to Allan Hancock with time.
Charlie Simmons checking back in as running back on this drive. 3 receivers out to his left, 1 to his right. Croton, 3rd and long, throws to Simmons from out of the backfield. He's able to get back up to the 30-yard line. A gain of 4, and 3rd down and 11 coming up.
I'd like Moorpark to keep that play in their back pocket, except instead of having Simmons cut it into an angle, have him keep it going straight on the wheel route. The cornerback flew away on that side, and the linebacker didn't flow out with him. You would have had him for a huge gain.
Empty set here. They'll have 5 receivers out for the Raiders. 3rd and long coming up, and they are going to take as much time off the clock as Croton is going to choose to keep it. He's in pursuit, but making his way towards the 35, up to the 37-yard line. We'll see where he's marked out at the 38, so he's going to be 3 yards shy. He was trying to catch the edge. Quick in pursuit was Keyshawn Pua, and the Raiders are going to have their offense still out on the field as the clock is stopped at 21-6. I think it was the mistake to go out of bounds there.
I think it was. I think that I like the call going for it, though. I do. Oh, and the ball was snapped.
Okay, so the ball was snapped, but there was multiple players hopping off sides. I don't know if this was going to be a false start by the Raiders, but there was on the left edge of the defensive line a guy completely offside. Watch this.
That's a penalty right there. That should give Moorpark a first down, but they go against
the Raiders
against Moorpark as a false start. Wow.
So a 5-yard penalty will be assessed, and that will bring the football back to the 33-yard line, making it 4th and 8, and this will bring the punting unit maybe out onto the field. No, we will have Croton still on the field. 21-6 on the clock. We will see what set they bring out, as they will have Charlie Simmons still on the field in the running back position. Heavy offensive line on the far side, as we will have more whistles, and this has now become the longest last 50 seconds of a football, half of football that you will probably ever watch, as we are at 5:08 p.m. and when I checked the clock, we were at like 4:50 in the final minute of this game. So this is turning into quite the conundrum of how time can just move so slow.
I'm surprised by the Moorpark Raiders staying on the field for this 4th down. I mean, we did just witness a kick go about 10 yards short from this distance, so 0 timeouts left for everybody. I like the call going for it, because as long as you keep the players in bounds, there's a very low chance they get up to the ball and spike it in time.
The Raiders offense is not going to come back out on the field. You'll have Daniel Burke, so coming out deep will be Makai Puga for Allan Hancock, as they have the wrong personnel out on the field and are finally getting shifted over. Burke handled a bad snap last time. No, not everybody was set, but this is a beautiful spiraling punt. Plenty of time, as Puga is going to try and return this from his own 25-yard line. Makes a move, cuts inside over the center, and he's able to make a big play, but a huge open field tackle, and my goodness, that was unbelievable from the special teams unit of the Raiders to stop that return from Puga.
And you heard all the oohs and ahs from the Allan Hancock sideline. Getting a little shifty there on the return, but at the end of the day,
that was Placide, by the way.
Didn't get enough yards.
Yeah, making the open field tackle with the club hand.
He continues another impressive day for him.
Yeah.
Him and Curtis Jackson have locked down this defense. They are right now the MVPs for Moorpark.
Yeah, if I were to give players of the game, at least in this game so far in the half, it has to be Curtis Jackson, Placide, and, well, that defensive line has done extraordinarily well. 1st and 10 with 9 seconds to go. No timeouts for anybody, and we will see the kneel down for the end of the first half. My goodness, fans, if you were watching, wanting to watch a defensive game of football, this is it. 3-0 at halftime. The Raiders trailing by 3 in their homecoming, but we have more football coming after a few moments. We will have a couple interviews at halftime. Don't go anywhere, everybody. You're watching Raider football on SoCal College Sports and the Raiders Sports Network. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Emery Johnson. I'm really happy to do this interview here at halftime. I'm here with Angela Eatree, and she represents the Moorpark College Alumni Association. Now, myself, I am wearing the polo, but I also represented Moorpark College for Moorpark College baseball back in 2014 to 2017, so I'm so excited to have you here in the booth.
Excited to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Can you tell me some things that the Alumni Association does here at Moorpark College?
So a couple of the things that we do is we offer discounts to performances at the PAC. We also send out information regarding, for instance, the homecoming game today.
Perfect.
And just try to keep alumni involved in what we're doing here on campus.
Awesome. Now, I don't want to necessarily date you here, but did you go to Moorpark College, and when did you go?
I did not go to
Okay.
Moorpark College, but I did go to a community college.
Okay, what community college did you go to?
Colorado Mountain College.
Colorado Mountain College. All right. Well, I have to say I really appreciate the work that you guys do. Moorpark College was very fundamental to a lot of the, just things that have helped me in my career, and I know a lot of the guys that I went to school with when I played baseball here. It's a great level of sports. So the fact that there's an alumni association that kind of brings us all together and allows us to do things after the fact, it really helps the community and keeps this tight-knit community of the community college level together. Do you have anything that you want to tell everybody? Any alumni listening or watching, but what information could I know to get a part of the
One of the
Alumni
big things that we are working on this year is expanding the Alumni Association. We want more alumni to get involved. Two of the big things we're working on is mentorships and also looking at alumni for internships.
Awesome.
So anybody out there that is interested, we'd love to have you reach out to us, and we'll get you set up.
Is that through your guys' website? Can we be found on the Moorpark College website? Where do I go?
We can be found on the Moorpark College website under Alumni Association.
Awesome.
And I can also give my email address.
Perfect. Yeah, if you want to give your email address right now.
My email is ayttri@vcccd.edu.
Awesome.
We look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Angela. It was a pleasure talking to you. And hopefully, if you guys are here at the stadium and listening, go down to the booth. You can talk to her.
Yes.
See what the Alumni Association is doing. Thank you
All right.
so much, everybody. Stay tuned. We have another interview coming up. We have the Chamber of Commerce from Moorpark College coming up just a few moments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, everyone, we are at our second halftime interview segment. I'm Luke Lamont, alongside the chairman of the Chamber of Moorpark Commerce, Mark Richardson. Mark, tell us a little bit about what the Chamber of Commerce does here for the city of Moorpark.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for interviewing me today. I appreciate it. You know, the Chamber, we're really a business advocate. Whether it's a local thing or a state thing, we want to represent the businesses accordingly. But mainly, it's to help businesses in Moorpark. We consider ourselves a small town, but the Chamber, our phrase is a small town, big on business, right? And so we do whatever we can to facilitate the local businesses, to help them grow, help people get to know them, whether it's through a mixer. We do a mixer once a month, and they can represent their business. We usually do it at the businesses. In fact, we have one coming up at Moorpark Karate and Krav Maga on Tuesday, and he'll be representing his business there. And we do chamber mixers once a month. We do breakfast once a month, and we all get together and kind of talk about our businesses and how we work.
So you guys seem very hands-on with the community and hands-on with the different events you do to support that, and that sounds amazing. That's obviously great for the city of Moorpark. And how important is it to you guys that you have that personal relationship with businesses in the area?
100%. With a town like Moorpark, it's not a huge place, right? So we all know each other. We see each other walking down the streets. We know who owns this business, who owns this business. And we talk about, you mentioned events. The huge event we have coming up on October 7th is Country Days. We're a big part of setting up Country Days. It's what we do every year. And that's going to be a great event for the community. There'll probably be 7,000 people there. There's the parade. We have vendors. We have a great country band this year. The parade has horses. We do. There's a kids area. All kinds of stuff going on like that. So again, that helps Moorpark businesses, right? People come together, and there's vendors. All the businesses can bring their booths and set up and do things. And it's just a great way for the community to come together, and the chamber's a big part of that.
And lastly, we want to mention just how has the chamber grown over the years? How have they gone from just starting as this Chamber of Commerce and grown to helping the community in such broad ways?
Yeah, I think it comes down to what I just mentioned also. Due to the fact that we all know each other and people see the benefit of the chamber, how is this going to help my business? And they see that when they meet people, oh yeah, I'm part of the chamber, I'm a member of the chamber. And we get more people to join just because word of mouth. We go out and talk to other businesses that aren't members, but it's usually word of mouth. Oh yeah, the chamber, they had this great event or this great breakfast, and you can come talk about your businesses for 30 seconds and talk to people. And it's really just word of mouth. And we have a great board of directors right now, an exciting group of people. They're fired up and they're motivated to make the chamber grow even more.
Well, we're so happy that we got to have you guys here and you support Moorpark Raider football, and it's great to have you here in the city. Mark, it was an absolute pleasure to meet you, and ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our second halftime interview segment.
Thank you.
It's time for the second half of Moorpark College Raiders football, and we are about to get underway. Remember, the Allan Hancock Bulldogs, they won the coin toss, deferred to the second half, so they are going to start with the football after the kickoff of the Raiders, barring any crazy things happening here. But the Bulldogs lead at 3-0. I'm Emory Johnson alongside Luke Lamont, and we are ready for the second half. And just, man, it was a fast first half. Halftime seemed like it went even quicker, and here we are. The Raiders got to do a lot of things to change the game plan here. Luke, what are your key points in order for the Raiders to try and secure this victory? It's 3-0. Anything's possible at this point.
I think, unfortunately, as unfortunate as it is, you need to abandon the run game. It's putting you behind the sticks every time you try it, and you got to hit more short passes. You got to find Simmons out of the backfield. It's been open a lot of the times. They've sort of strayed away from it. Meanwhile, that Raider defense, switching gears, they really need to get a stop here to start this second half. You can't go down 2 scores when it's a 3-0 game. Your offense hasn't shown you anything yet. You got to realize it's in your hands. You got to start wrapping up, and that second guy there, you got to start clawing away at the football.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway that I had was defensively they're doing their job. They're making sure they're preventing the long play from occurring. They're taking the nickel and dime offense from Allan Hancock, but realistically at the end of the day, you have to be able to produce points on offense to win this football game, and the Raiders just need to start figuring out an offensive plan. I think starting with establishing a passing game that's effective, short, and accurate would be the best way to get that running game to start working if you wanted to go that way. But at the end of the day, the Raiders need to move this football and cash in for points. Getting ready to kick off, and we will have Daniel Burke send it down the field. Back to return will be Makai Puga. Again, their #1 returner all season for the Bulldogs. This one is boomed out of the back of the end zone. Daniel Burke said, I don't want to see your face coming down this field on a return. So the Bulldogs will start at the 20-yard line. Check that, the 25. And we will have the defense of the Raiders back out onto the field after they got their 20-minute break. And goodness gracious, we are almost underway again. Can report it is very windy and cold right now. There's no lack of cold wind and clouds here at Griffin Stadium. Probably making a couple of those tackles really sharp and a little more painful.
And now's a chance for Moorpark to make a statement. You're out on the field, first down and 10. You can't let them cross midfield. That's the goal you got to set.
The first play is a power toss towards the far sideline, and a big run for Caden Harris as he's going to get a gain of 10 yards all the way up to the sticks, and that'll be a first down on the first play for the Bulldogs up to the 35. So the Bulldogs electing to run the football for the first time in, I believe, actually a number of series. They've been starting out on that first down throwing the football, and this is the first time they broke from that mold. The second series of the game will be played from the 35. Handoff here on first down and a power run through the middle, and that looks like Josh Allan, who has poked his way through. Check that. That's Ferrari Busby, who has handled the snap, and he will have a gain of 8 yards as that was powerful right into the middle of the pile, and he just seemed like he kept turning his legs forward.
And this is the second play in a row, really, where Moorpark isn't really playing through the whistle. They're wrapping up and just anticipating the referees to blow it. You got to get the ball carrier out of bounds on that first play or on the ground on that second one. You have to make sure you play until the whistle. There's no excuse for one running back to be carrying 3 of your defensive linemen and or linebackers.
2nd and 7 coming up. Power toss over to that far side. Again, Caden Harris carrying the football, and there's going to be a long flag thrown all the way in the area of what looks to be a hold. We will see exactly how the laundry, and yeah, immediately is going to be handled for a hold. And, eventually if you keep running that running play out towards the edge, it's going to be difficult for the offensive lineman not to be caught on a hold as they're trying to carry that block across the field.
Yeah, they're going to try to start cheating a little bit over. When they don't, they're going to try reaching, as you mentioned, holding. What a throw by the referee. Yeah. That was pinpoint accuracy from deep. I think the
farthest pass completed all game.
I would say it probably is.
So a 10-yard penalty will be placed from the spot of the foul. That was at the 44-yard line. The ball will be placed 10 yards shy of that, so all the way back to the 34. 2nd and 11 is now dialed up with 13:34 on the clock as we're ticking down. here in the third quarter. Delayed handoff here, and this is a big run for Busby as he's going to be hit and brought down. Another big gain for 6 yards all the way up to the 40-yard line. Line to gain will be the 45.
It would have been a lot more. Hoots made a great job filling outside there instead of getting caught on the fake pass. The draw play, he's done a great job at reading those. He had
those
one
linebackers
earlier in the game.
As the game has gone on, it seems like they've started to key in really well on whatever tells that the offense is giving them. I wonder if there is a certain look that they have on offense that the defense is just able to recognize and go, okay, they're setting up specifically for this one type of play. Offset I, they've been throwing out of this formation for a while, and here comes the throw here on third down. That's what they've done a couple times. This one incomplete, and that was thrown over to the fullback. That was A.J. Masanu. And incomplete. That will bring up fourth down. That would have been his third catch of the season and potentially enough for a first down as that was just overthrown. And Clavel, man, big mistake here on their first drive. That will turn the football over, and we will have Cronquist out to return the football with 12:41 on the clock.
And that was a huge stop for Moorpark. Got off the field clean, and the one thing, that was a great play design from Allan Hancock. They pulled the tight end, put Kohulun out in the flats all alone, and just unfortunately dropped for Allan Hancock.
Cronquist going to elect not to touch the football here as it will take a Bulldogs roll down to the 30, we'll call it. Check that 28-yard line. So we'll see the first look of the Moorpark Raiders offense now.
A special Moorpark College Athletics thanks to Kristen Robinson and Moorpark College Associated students for their loyal support. Thank you, ASMC and students, and go Raiders.
Well, Moorpark's definitely been in the right here, going all out wide pass.
5 receivers out, and Cronquist, or excuse me, Croton is going to start with an empty set here. Time to throw. Nope. Pocket breaks down as he moves towards the far sideline. Running towards the 30-yard line. He's going to get a couple yards, and he's hit out of bounds, but not too late as he falls around the 30, we'll call it 4-yard line. So enough for a gain of 4 on the play. We'll check it, mark at 5. Line to gain will be the 38, and we have 2nd and 5 coming up. We'll see if they continue with the empty set here as I see Charlie Simmons is now moving over towards the shotgun position. So one running back in Charlie Simmons beside Croton. He has 4 receivers out, 2 to his right, 2 to his left. On the far hash, it will be the wide side of the field. Croton throwing here on 2nd down. He had Cronquist wide open, and it would have been a touchdown, but here is a flag.
There is a flag on the play.
Well, this could be something it's definitely in the secondary.
And I didn't catch what it was. Maybe we'll see it here on replay.
I don't see anything.
Sideline warning. Interesting.
And that's unfortunate. That's a complete breakdown in the secondary, and Croton just completely overthrows Cronquist.
And that's a play that I think they've been setting up pretty much all game. That would have been a touchdown for sure. 3 receivers out to the left, 2 to the right. They got to be careful on the protection of Croton here. Croton looking to fire, but he's going to be sacked and brought down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 1. 4th down coming up, and here comes the punting unit of the Raiders. The first drive, no good for the Raiders.
And that one, I'm not going to put that one on the offensive line. I'm going to put that on Croton. You got to realize the safety rotated down to a press formation. They are setting the house on that play. You need to know that you have to get that ball out. You have 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and it needs to be gone. Yeah. And that play held on for it for way too long.
Punt almost blocked contact with the punter, Daniel Burke, but Pua going to take the football. He's going to be hit and brought down after a gain of looks to be 10 after the return. We'll see if he's marked down at the, we'll call it 41. So a return of 11 yards, and that will be enough to get them started here at the 41. The Bulldogs able to turn things around. And I think you're right, Luke. If anything, you need to be stepping back, not into the pocket. The pressure was obviously collapsing around him. When he stepped forward, it looked like it was wide open, but all the defensive lineman had to do is just reach over and grab a hold of him because he wasn't being held that much in the block.
And now you put your defense in another tough situation. I mean, they can only hold for so long. I mean, the offense has to break through at some point for Moorpark, or they're not going to be able to win this game.
And here comes a big run, and this is going to be uncontested. It's going to be the fullback all the way down to the 10-yard line, and it looks like the Bulldogs have a huge play here on first down. A.J. Masunu.
Well, they do that fullback dive, but he breaks the first tackle, and the linebacker's already committed because they do a little bit of misdirection. So they're committed the wrong way opposite of the fullback dive. It's a great play design that the linebackers, especially the safety of Moorpark, they need to be able to read that. They need to slow play it just a little bit more and ensure that the guy who they think has the ball really does, because in that case, they did not.
Well, 10:54 on the clock, and the clock will continue to wind down here in this third quarter. The Raiders defense now on the doorstep. They need to make sure they make the stop here. Heavy package, no wide receivers out here for the Bulldogs offense, as it's going to be handed off to John Allan, and he's going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage, or maybe a gain of 1 yard line, or gain of 1 yard, all the way up to the 8.
And once again, Vitsualea making a couple run stops here. I mean, it's not often you see a quarterback transition out to safety, especially one who was very successful in high school. But now he's trying to find his way onto the field. He's an athlete, and it's always great when you can get those guys anywhere on the field, and he's proven useful.
Fullback in motion. It's going to be a toss. No, looking to throw here on second down into a wide open receiver, and a touchdown for the Bulldogs. Alex Sutton able to make the reception.
Unfortunately, that one's going to be on Walea. As the safety, you're the only one back there in coverage. You got to trust your outside linebacker. There was 2 Moorpark Raiders there on the contain of the quarterback, and you got to stay in the end zone there. That one, his eyes got drawn inside. The play action worked perfectly, and Allan Hancock executes.
Well, the Raiders not able to put points up on their last drive in this game, now 9-0. Awaiting the extra point here from the Bulldogs. Costa's kick, up and good.
The kick is good, and with 9:52 to play in the game, actually the third quarter, its score now is Bulldogs
so 10-0. 9:02 left on the clock. Luke, I can see you're frustrated.
It's one of those situations where the offense has to get something going. It's been over 2 quarters now of virtually nothing. You had the one drive in the mid-first quarter that you got down, and you missed the field goal with Burke, right? Aside from that, I don't think Moorpark has crossed midfield, let alone get more than 1 first down on a drive.
Yeah, it's been very tough to move the football. Again, there just doesn't seem to be any rhythm, and I don't think it's anything spectacular that Allan Hancock is doing on defense.
It really isn't. As we saw, there was a touchdown that last drive there, touchdown opportunity. There's been, I'd say, about 2 or 3 touchdown opportunities for the Raiders, at least big gain potential plays that they failed to cash in on.
This football returned up to the 35 before it is whistled dead. A decent return taken from about the 15-yard line. We will see who the football returner is. I want to say it was Mikey Holland, but I couldn't tell exactly who it was. Maybe you have better eyes here, Luke.
I do not see who that was. Let's see in the replay. That was number 7 for the Raiders.
Check that. I'm completely wrong.
Elisha Evans.
Yeah, Elisha Evans. He has been returning footballs all season. Okay, handoff here on first down, and Davis is going to be hit behind the line of scrimmage, and they start with a running play that goes nowhere.
Well, you mentioned nothing spectacular necessarily from Allan Hancock. This is the one thing I'd say they're doing spectacularly. Sure. The run game is nowhere to be found for Moorpark. They've done an excellent job at denying them at the line of scrimmage. On Moorpark right here, expect a quick pass. This is what you need. You need to get Croton back in a rhythm.
Croton, delayed snap, handles it, looking to throw here on second down. He's going to be hit and pressured and sacked once again, and the Raiders not able to protect the quarterback, but Croton, most importantly, not able to get the football out. Ezekiel Siumalo able to get the sack there. 8:44 on the clock to go as time is ticking down, and it's going to be 3rd and now 20, almost dialed up. Check that. We'll see exactly what it is. 3rd and 18.
3rd and 18.
I mean, in this situation, you might keep Simmons in the backfield maybe to chip out and then release late. Try to get the linebackers to fly deep, maybe throw some seam routes, a dig route, and then try to hit Simmons underneath and just try to gain something.
Croton throwing here on 3rd down. Quick pass over to Cronquist, and Cronquist has no choice but to dive forward into the middle of the hash. He is stopped around the 30-yard line, and we'll have the punting unit of the Raiders come back out.
Noah Cronquist.
That is to the point where the defense, they're going to start getting a little bit frustrated. I get they just gave up a touchdown, but before that, they held Allan Hancock to 3 total points, and they did a great job. The defense is still doing a great job. It's been 1 or 2 big runs, and that's it. And they've done a great job at limiting the big plays, but the offense is not capitalized in any sort of fashion.
We will have a flag out on the field, I think, potentially for in the area of a false start or maybe an offsides. It's thrown from the far judge. And it's going to be called against Allan Hancock.
Encroachment on the Bulldogs will move the ball up 5 yards.
Also allow Burke to give him a chance to set up a longer field for the Bulldog offense.
This punt will be taken from the 20. It looks like they have Puga standing around his own 25. High snap for Burke. End over end punt. This one's moving fast, takes a Raiders bounce, and Puga is going to try and take it back. He takes a move outside. He's going to be hit low and brought down around the 31-yard line, and that was a good job on the special teams side for the Raiders as they keep the long return from occurring, as the football will be placed at the 32-yard line. 7:21 left to go here on the clock.
And this is sort of a bounce-back drive for the defense. I mean, you start off the half great, then you give up a touchdown. You got to keep this within a 2-score game. You can't let up a touchdown this drive and go down 17 points. That would be the worst-case scenario.
Handoff here on 1st down. They're going to go with the hot hand, and Caden Harris makes a big run up the middle, and he's going to be able to make 12 yards out of that run alone. 7:14, the clock will start moving once the football is placed, but that's a big first play, and I think the fatigue is starting to get on the Raiders' defense here.
I was about to mention, I think this is playing in Allan Hancock's hands. That front 7 is getting a little tired. They're getting a little worn down. That offensive line for Allan Hancock really needs to dig in and make sure they get to their landmarks, and they're going to win this game if they're able to run the ball this way.
Another handoff here. This one going to be hit in the backfield and blown up in a big play as the Raiders will have the football, and it's turned over. My eyes were drawn down to the bottom of the field, and the Raiders able to strip the football away, and this is potentially a game-breaking play as there was an attempt to turn the football around from Ferrari Busby, but he gets the football stripped out of his hands, and with the Raiders able to get a 1st down well within Bulldogs territory.
That was Nico Neres taking it away, and a great play on the contain by Christian Kohulun. That was a great job. He made that play happen. That's huge for the Raiders, exactly what they needed.
Well, now it's up to the offense to do their job and execute here. Heavy offensive line for the Raiders. Croton throwing here on 1st down, hits Cronquist. Cronquist over the middle, makes a move, and he's going to be hit and brought down at the 16-yard line, and a big first play for the Raiders, and that's exactly what we were talking about, is get the football in your playmaker's hands and have a timed-up pass like that. Cronquist still going up to make that catch, but that's a good job of putting his body on the line.
Well, now here comes the momentum shift. You need to ride this wave into the end zone on this drive.
Heavy offensive line again. Handoff here on 1st down, running towards the weak side, and that's going to be Davis, who's brought down after a gain of 2 or 3. Will mark 2-yard gain. He'll be at the 14-yard line. Line to gain will be the 6-yard line.
And when we say the run game isn't really there, it's not necessarily Davis's fault.
No.
He does not have anywhere to go.
Trips receivers on the near side, one spread out on the right side. Slow snap here, and this is going to be to Cronquist. Cronquist diving forward around the 10-yard line, a gain of 4. Again, line to gain will be the 6-yard line, so 3rd and 4 coming up. This is definitely what I would call maybe 4 down territory, but you can take the points with the field goal here. Davis stays out on the field, 4 receiver spread. This is standard offense for the Raiders. Davis to the left of Croton. Croton, delayed snap, looking left, trying to throw towards the edge of the end zone, has an open receiver, and it's dropped in the end zone. Ryan Johnson. Oh, goodness. It was in his hands. All he had to do was hold on.
Well, it was a surefire touchdown, and now you send out the field goal unit. I'm going to be honest, I don't like this call at all for the Moorpark kicking a field goal here. You got a golden opportunity. Even if it's 4th down, you got to go for it. You had multiple receivers open on that play. Davis had a 1st down out in the flats. The touchdown was open. I think you got to trust your offense because this is the first sign of life they've had the entire game, and now you're just going to take them off the field.
Good hold for Burke. Football is up, and it is through the uprights. So 3 points on the board. The Raiders able to break the skunk as it stands right now. So 10-3 is the scoreline. I know you're shaking your head, Luke, but nonetheless, the Raiders able to get some points back, and the defense, again, going to be charged with a big play to make here.
Oh, that just made a big play. It's just one of those situations where your offense has had literally nothing the entire game. You've missed out on opportunities. You've not had anywhere to go. It's to the point where, yeah, the field goal, now it's a 7-point game. You feel more comfortable that way, but when are you going to be back in striking range like that? You might come back to field goal range, but you might not get another chance to get the ball into the end zone.
Daniel Burke out to kick for the Raiders. We'll have Pua out deep for the Bulldogs. 5:17 left on the clock here in the 3rd quarter. We still have a full quarter of football, as well as a 1/3 of this one left. And here comes the kick from Burke. This one deep and towards the edge of the end zone. Puga going to return it from halfway into his own end zone. Cutting back towards the far side. He's at the 10-yard line. He's going to be hit hard, and he's going to be brought down. Only able to get 15 yards from his own end zone, and he's down at the 10-yard line in a huge open field tackle from number 47 of the Raiders, Terrell Rosario. My goodness.
That's a statement. That's exactly what the Raiders need. That's what your defense needs. A huge special teams play on a kickoff, big hit like we just saw, really sets the tones for those next 3 to 4 plays of that offensive possession.
Well, I tell you what, Puga probably is going to feel that tomorrow. That was a squared up, that about as textbook of a hit in football as you could possibly get. First play here for offense of the drive for the Bulldogs, and going to be hit and blown up right at the line of scrimmage. Caden Harris, he gets a gain of 4 yards. Checked out, not at the line of scrimmage, but that was well designed from the linebacker core. They were able to stop him, and he didn't get any kind of squirt of speed after that, a gain of 3.
I mean, that hole was open. I mean, we could see it from up here. You could drive a truck through it, but Walea flew down from the safety position. Linebackers came in late. Everybody got there on that play.
2 receivers out, offset I formation. They like to throw out of this formation, and they are. Throw towards the near sideline, and this is going to be caught and brought down. Michael Jordan is going to be brought down around the 37-yard line, so the chains are moving for the Bulldogs. 4:24 on the clock.
And that slant's a great concept. You know it's press man, and it's so perfect to where it fits right in the hole where the safety can't completely bail out on the run and rotate to it. I mean, we've seen a couple times that they've thrown it. Walea is almost there, but it's impossible for him to make the play based on what his keys are. It's just a great design from Allan Hancock.
Clavel under center. 2 receivers out. He's going to hand it off, and that was that short little handoff right in the middle to their fullback for a gain of 4 yards.
Caden Harris on the carry. Tackled by number 90, Arnolfo Morales.
Second down, I would not be surprised but before, at least if they don't get this first down, if we see another pass. I think that it would be smart for Allan Hancock too. The pass game has really worked. They only average 100 passing yards per game, but they do it efficiently. They do it at the right times, and that's why it's successful for them.
Well, standard I formation here, 2 receivers out regardless. Power toss over towards the far sideline, and that's going to be Caden Harris taking the football. He's going to be blown up back behind the line of scrimmage, and here comes the whistle. All the way up to the line of scrimmage with forward progress, but 3rd and 6 coming up, and a big defensive stand for the Raiders here in a pivotal next drive for the Bulldogs.
You got to get that offense out on the field now, as soon as you possibly can. They have their momentum still. While they still got a groove going, you need to get them back out on the field. They sit on the sidelines for a while. They're going to lose that momentum.
Now, the real question is, what play do the Bulldogs have dialed up here? They have the offset I formation once again. Clavel going under center. We'll see if he tries to throw it here, and he does. It's going to be a throw all the way, throwing across on that breakup play. Oh, my goodness, a huge hand in from Burton Placide. Holy cow.
There's the mitt coming in. You could hear it from all the way up here, the contact with the ball. I'm sure that one's going to sting tomorrow, but he made a phenomenal play, and that was the great play design from Allan Hancock. You want to target that route. That slant route has worked every single time, but you run it too much. A good corner like Placide, he's going to key in on it, and he did a great job and picked his moment and shot his shot.
And I think the Raiders have the right defensive idea here on this drive, or throughout this game, which is bend but don't break. Give them the small play, don't allow the big play, and that is exactly the end result of that. Cronquist calling for the fair catch. He receives it around the 24-yard line. 2:26 on the clock. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after a few moments. You're watching Raider football on SoCal College Sports.
Oh, Croughton out of the gun, going to fire deep down the sideline, looking for River Stout, but overthrown on the play. That brings up 2nd down and 10. The Raider offense needs to get something going on this drive.
Is incomplete, brings up 2nd and 10.
As we got 2nd down and 10, they go split, trips to the right side towards the bottom of our screen. That's the left of Croughton. He's going to look to the sideline after cupping his hands a couple times, looking for the play. Raiders play clock winding under 10. Snap is to Croughton. He's going to quickly fire to the right. Landless diving and little overthrown and low from Croughton, going to fall incomplete. And now a quick 3rd down and 10 comes up. And this is one of those situations where Moorpark really needs to do something here, at least give your defense a chance after they made such a great stop on the last drive. You can't go 3 and out here, especially only down 7. You need to keep that momentum going, try to get anything you can. As we have Moten going split to the right side. Landless still in the backfield. 3rd down and 10. They go a draw, play action, and Croton is blasted on the play. He's going to go down for a loss of 10.
Brody Tucker sacks.
That was Brody Tucker on the sack, his first of the season. He's had a couple tackle for losses here tonight. And Daniel Burke will head out to punt. He'll be stationed around the 3-yard line. That's not what the Raider offense needed. And they will go 3 and out. The defense will have to come back out onto the field and make another stand. Punt away from Burke. This one wobbles and will be fair caught at the 45.
The fair catch at the 45-yard line, and that's where the Bulldogs will take over 1st and 10. Moorpark College
And it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Bulldogs.
driving force behind our vibrant business community. Since 1915,
And they have not had much going since the touchdown drive. But good starting field position around midfield. Minute 33 left here in the 3rd quarter. They maintain a 7-point lead over the Moorpark Raiders.
advocating for local and statewide causes, the Chamber's
A key matchup, those two outside corners. We saw a couple slant routes last drive. One on the third down broken up by Placide. We'll go tight end in motion to the right. We'll hand the ball off up the middle. And brought down, pick up a 4, they'll mark it. That was Tucker, the ball carrier. No correction, make it number 39. That was Caden Harris, starting back for the Bulldogs. He'll head to the sidelines now. Now they'll split 2 receivers out to the left. 2nd down and 6 to go. Under the I form once again. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a bubble screen. Corner backs off. That's Placide. And they'll look that way. Fire the slant inside, complete. Corner fell down, but caught on the play by number 83, Elias Martinez, his 7th reception of the season. Nico Nares makes the stop for the Raiders, but that moves the chains. That's a 1st down, and ball will be placed on the 35-yard line as we wind down to potentially the final play of the 3rd quarter. Passing game starting to heat up for the Bulldogs. They'll spread it out once again. I form, fullback dive, seen this a couple times. And the pile forms 3 yards past the line of scrimmage and bring up a 2nd down.
Number 45, A.J. Masuno.
That's A.J. Masuno, the ball carrier. And that'll bring us to the 4th quarter. Allan Hancock leads the Raiders 10-3, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a few moments with a break. And ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back for the 4th quarter of Moorpark Raider football. Allan Hancock driving at the 33-yard line. Maintain a 7-point lead. I-form play action. Pass out to the sideline, complete. Turns it upfield on the hitch route. And racing to the end zone, brought down just shy by Christian Kohloon. That's Michael Jordan Jr. with the catch and run. And it'll be placed at the 2-yard line. A huge play for the Bulldogs as they look to extend their lead to 14 points, knocking on the doorstep. And just a great catch and run, better delivery. Jackson Clavel has been excellent on passes today. All of them pretty much catchable for the receivers. Here's the handoff up the middle. And he's in for the touchdown. That's going to be number 39, Caden Harris, the leading rusher for the team. He'll notch his 4th touchdown of the season. Well, initial signal was touchdown, and they will give it to him.
Caden Harris for a touchdown.
Now Acosta on to kick the extra point. Bulldogs take a 2-possession lead over the Raiders, who has struggled on offense today, only 3 points. Acosta lines up the kick. And it's up and good. Your score will be Allan Hancock 17, Moorpark Raiders 3. And now that offense that has struggled so much throughout the game will come back out onto the field and try to get something going. One of their last gasps coming up as that defense is starting to break. And McLeod Croughton needs to lead something. He's got to have some quick completions here, especially needs to target Charlie Simmons and Noah Cronquist. Haven't seen much of them in this second half at all, except for the one completion of Cronquist. Again, couple missed opportunities have been the name of the game for the Raiders. Penalties early on in the game, but this second half has been filled with potential touchdowns that have been just either dropped or overthrown. Just small mistakes starting to pile up as they now face a 14-point deficit.
Visit moorparkchamber.com. Thank you, Moorpark Chamber of Commerce, for your dedication to a thriving Moorpark. We may be a small town, but we're big on business.
And here's the return. Evans takes it from the 15, shakes a tackle at the 30, and will be brought down. Ball will be placed at the 30-yard line, and Croughton will take the field. Croughton thrown a touchdown every single game this year, but yet to do so today. The Raiders held to only 3, as they'll have first down and 10. And Croughton will spread it out, double set, 2 receivers to each side. Allan Hancock playing no safeties. All of them up at 5 yards. Defense is confused. Moorpark needs to take advantage and snap the ball. Here's the rush, handed off. Nowhere to go. It's Davis. He'll get back to the original line of scrimmage. And no gain on the play.
Cam Davis on the carry.
And one of those situations, Moorpark has definitely got to take a deep shot when the safeties are playing that far up. You got to block the running back, give Croughton the time to throw, and they got to look for something over top. Now the safety's back to the original spot at about 14 yards where they usually sit. Croughton hands it off to Davis, gets to the left edge, and cuts it upfield. He'll pick up maybe a yard. Looks like they'll give him just a yard on the play, barely past the line of scrimmage. Now 3rd down and long once again. And the Raider offense still struggling late here in the 4th quarter. We have 13:46 and counting. The stifling Allan Hancock defense playing 2 high safeties. They've switched it up quite often throughout the game. Croughton in the gun. Takes the snap. Under pressure, and he's going to go down once again. Another sack for Allan Hancock. First one there on the play was number 42, Salofi Liga Sului. And that one is going to be a loss of 10 on the play, and another 3 and out quickly for the Raider offense as they continue their struggles deep into this game. And Burke back to punt it away, gets this one off clean, spiraling, running backwards is Puga. He'll field it and be marked as a fair catch at the 33-yard line where Allan Hancock will take over. Defense needing a stop that they haven't gotten the last drive. Down 14. First down and 10 for the Bulldogs. And the key here for Allan Hancock is maintain possession. They've done a great job at taking a lot of time off the clock. And they've isolated a lot of the big names. Peyton Casillas only called his name a handful of times tonight. There's the tight end in motion. Clavel hands it off. It's Caden Harris up the middle, spinning. Correction, that's number 2, John Allan. Haven't seen much of him tonight. But he sprints forward for a pickup of 12. First down, Allan Hancock. The first down and 10, Bulldogs. And this Raider defense starting to feel the fatigue. They've had a heavy rush attack against them all night long. And Allan Hancock done a great job of keeping them on their toes, mixing up the pass. Here's the first down and 10 play. Tight end motion to the right once again. And here's the handoff. Here's Harris bursting through the line, and he's going to be drugged down after a pickup of 10. Tackled on the play by Jaden Lemons.
Harris on the carry. Luis Hernandez gets the tackle. Ball placed at the Raider 45.
And the clock continues to run under 12 minutes now. 14-point lead. Ball will be placed at the 45-yard line. Now where Moorpark really needs to batten down the hatches. They got to be extra aggressive with the situation in hand. And Allan Hancock doing a great job keeping the ball on the ground. Tight end motions to the right. Same exact play up the middle. And this time he's going to be met. A huge tackle right there for Moorpark. That was Luis Hernandez. Great job. A physical hit just past the line of scrimmage. It'll be a gain of 1. So 2nd down and 9 for the Raiders. As Allan Hancock heads back to the line of scrimmage. No schematic changes throughout the majority of this game. Both teams sticking to their game plan. Tight end in motion once again, and we are going to get a timeout. We'll see, it's going to be called by Allan Hancock. So they take their first of the second half. Your score 17-3. We'll be back with more football in just a moment. Welcome you back from the timeout break. 2nd down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Still line up in the I-form tight once again. Here's the handoff. Harris up the middle, stopped once again. He only gets maybe half a yard on the play. So the Raiders snuffing out the play that they've run about 5 times in a row. They get him twice. Now Allan Hancock goes back to the drawing board on 3rd down and long for the Bulldogs. Raider defense needs to make a stand right here. Down 2 scores against a run-heavy team. You got to get off the field at every opportunity you can, especially late in this game. Same formation for the Bulldogs. 2 receivers wide. They'll go play action. Have a lot of time. Fires deep downfield. Can't come back to it. Underthrown, but a flag is down. Intended for Jordan Jr. And we'll see who this is on. Clavel had all the time in the world to throw that football. And we're going to get a holding on the offense. And Moorpark will decline, bring up a 4th down and 8.
Holding against Allan Hancock is declined, brings up 4th down.
And the punt unit will come out onto the field. Acosta, Cronquist, and Shakir, who we haven't seen much since the opening game of the season that we covered against Palomar, back deep to return. Here's Acosta. Pressure off the edge, gets it away clean, spiraling. Shakir, it'll let it go over his head, and that's going to be a touchback. Moorpark will take over. 1st down and 10 at the 20. And this struggling offense really desperate for an answer. Need to try to get Croughton any sort of rhythm, whether it's on short passes, getting the ball out quick, because he does not have a lot of time in that pocket. The offensive line giving way. And that pass rush really tuning it up. The middle linebackers over the middle, huge size. You got to be careful throwing at them, especially over the middle to number 11 of that defense, which would be Keyshawn Pua, the leading tackler of the team. Already has a batted down pass tonight. Here's Croton out of the gun. He will roll to his right. Scanning, nothing there. Throws the ball away. Pressured on the play by Pua. A 2nd down and 10. Tried with the flood concept on the rollout. Still nothing materializing for this offense. get into one of those situations where despite only down 2 scores, it's so late in the game and you've struggled so much that almost anywhere on the field could be considered 4-down territory, especially after this drive. We'll see if they make that decision now, but we are not there yet. 2nd down and 10. Croton takes the snap, had a tight end to his right, will roll that way. Looking, pumping, throws incomplete again. That one dangerous. Almost intercepted by Adarius Odom. And now another 3rd down and 10. You have to avoid another 3 and out if you're the Raider offense. Can't put your defense back out into the field after getting a stop. And these rollout play action plays have not worked at all for the Raiders. Back-to-back throwaways from Croton. Out of the gun once again. He's got a trips to his right with the tight end. That's Ryan Johnson. And that's going to be a penalty on the Raiders. Seems to be it's going to be another delay of game. That's their 2nd delay of game of the game.
After the penalty, backs up the Raiders 5 more yards.
And now it's 3rd down and 15, so a ton of miscues from this Raider offense, something we didn't necessarily expect. They're averaging a lot of points a game, 32 to be exact. But now we're in the situation where Moorpark has 3 points with 10 minutes left to go, and they keep shooting themselves in the foot and backing themselves up. Here's Croton out of the gun. Pressure. He's going to go down again for the sack. This offensive line not able to hold for him. That's Darian Protho on the sack, his 2nd of the night. And Burke will punt from the back of his end zone. And this Raider offense probably has about 1 more possession to kick things into gear. They could only see the ball 2 more times this game if Allan Hancock plays their cards right. This one away for Burke. Fielded past the 50. And a great open field tackle on the play. That's number 25, Javon Evans, making the play on special teams. And now 1st down and 10. Puga not able to get anywhere on the return. And Moorpark really struggling in this one. The defense needs 2 more stops at least, especially one here, if they're going to have a chance in this one. 9:42 to go. And starting field position around midfield for Clavel in the offense. Tight end motions over to the right. They go toss the opposite way to the left to Harris. Trying to get the corner, and he'll just run out of bounds after a pickup of 3. We'll mark him at the 47-yard line, 48. Christian Kohulun on the play.
Pickup of 2 on the play to the Raider 49-yard line brings up 2nd.
And 2nd down and 8 for the Bulldogs. They'll go I-form tight end. 2 starts on the left. We'll motion to the right as we've seen often. A key tell, and here's the passing play. Clavel nowhere to go. A lot of time running. And he's going to go down for the sack. Luis Hernandez plays the QB spy perfectly and fires into the backfield. And that's exactly what the Raiders defense needs under 9 minutes to go. And that's 3rd down and long for Allan Hancock. And now a decision to be made. Do you keep the ball on the ground just to take some time off and potentially break one free? Or do you try the pass to pick up a 1st down and keep this drive going? We'll see what the Bulldogs decide to do. He slants on the passing play, not open that time. Moorpark is keyed in on that in the 2nd half, and they've done a great job. Placide and Jackson on the outside. As we will get a whistle. And a timeout will be called, the 2nd charge timeout of the half for the Bulldogs. 8:14 left to go, 17-3. We'll be back just after the timeout break. from the timeout break. 3rd down and long for the Bulldog offense. Clavel stays under center. This time 3 wide receivers. They'll go play action, no surprise there. A lot of time, pump fakes, rolling under pressure, and he's going to go down. Roberto Ruggiero with the sack. And Darnell Stevens, the initial man there. Ruggiero cleans up shop, and that's a guaranteed punt now coming from Acosta. And the Raider defense makes an excellent stand, and now it's definitely the weight of the world is on the offense's shoulder. The entire game relies on can Moorpark's offense gain anything. The lone field goal coming from a defensive turnover forced by Nico Neres on the stripped fumble. And now Acosta will punt Shakir. And Holland back to return. Acosta looking around, waiting. And a flag is going to come out on the field. The back line judge there's going to be no foul on the play for a delay of game due to substitutions. The clock should not have been set to run yet. The official will explain to the Moorpark sideline. And here we go. 4th down and 20 to go. Acosta on to punt. Returner stationed at the 25-yard line. And now the clock will run. We'll hit 7 minutes to go by the time this one is underway. It's Acosta. Kicks it. This one spiraling. Shakir, a chance at a return. Nobody there to block, but he will be dropped for a loss of 2. Ball will be placed at the 23-yard line. And now the biggest question mark will head onto the field. The Raider offense. Can they find an answer and solve the puzzle of the Allan Hancock defense, or just get any sort of rhythm? This is a touchdown drive guaranteed if they're going to. There will be no field goal attempts. And I would not be surprised if we don't see a punt. 7 minutes left. This is 4 down territory. It is score or nothing for the Raiders. Hroughton, running back and tight end to his right, along with 2 receivers. They will hand the ball off to Davis as he will shift through the traffic and pick up 3. Good play to start the drive. 2nd down and 7. As we get a whistle. And now the clock will wind once again. Hroughton, play action. Quick fire out to the flats. Complete to Moten. He'll be dropped by his feet just shy of the 30. Ball will be placed at the 28-yard line. Another pickup of 2, 3rd down and 5. This has got to be 4 down territory for the Raider offense. You got 2 plays to pick up 5. Wouldn't be surprised if you go deep here and maybe try to get something at the sticks on the 4th down. Here's Croughton. He's going to fire over the middle. Has Cronquist complete. Splits the defenders. Cronquist off to the races. He's going to go. Moorpark. Touchdown. Noah Cronquist. Firing on all cylinders this time around, and the Raiders draw within 1 score. Noah Cronquist takes it 72 yards from the 28 for the touchdown. And just the answer that the Raider offense needed. Now they got to send the defense back out on the field. They need one more stop. 5:45 to go. And the key for Moorpark is they have held on to all 3 of those timeouts. As Burke, the all-important extra point. As the play is whistled live, Burke will line it up. 5:55 to go. This to make it a 7-point game. It is up and good.
The kick
Oh, your score 17-10. The Raiders draw within one. And a huge strike when they had nothing going. Noah Cronquist. They go to their superstar wide receiver, and the breakaway speed that we've witnessed throughout the season shines once again, splitting the defenders. Simple crossing route, exactly what they need. Croton poised in the pocket, delivered it perfectly. And now the defense needing a stop. Moorpark is back in this ball game. Down only 7, 17-10. We'll see if Burke even gives them a chance at a return here, as the teams will take the field. That Raider defense did a great job last time out, forcing a 3-and-out and a huge loss at that. It was a 4th down and 20 when Acosta was set to punt it away.
A 72-yard touchdown pass.
As it's announced to the crowd, 72 yards to Noah Cronquist. He continues his games of touchdown streaks. And Burke set to kick it away from the 35. This one will be short, fielded at the 5 by Puga. They'll take it to the left side, back inside, brought down by a handful of Raiders at the 25. So just the same as a touchback. And now we're getting down to crunch time. Here's a huge drive coming up for the Bulldog offense. Need to get something going and potentially put this one away. But that Raider defense, time to batten down the hatches. They really got to be prepared for anything. They got to play man press on the outside as they have all game. They switched up the corners. Jackson not out in the field. They got Javon Evans down low. And Placide up top. I-form set. Tight end will motion to the right. There's Clavel. Hands it off to Harris. 2 hands on the football up the middle. And he'll pick up 3 as the clock begins to run.
A.J. Masuno on the carry.
2nd down and 7.
Correction on the carry.
And a flag is going to be thrown.
Flag on the play.
We'll see what this is on. The ref threw that very emphatically after the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the Raiders. That is a crucial penalty. He had 2nd down and long coming up. That's 15 yards and a 1st down. Not sure exactly what caused the flag to come out or what was done by Moorpark, but either way, that's unsportsmanlike. Late in the game, that's not a penalty that you can take. Personal fouls, you got to be thinking about the team situation there. Now ball will be placed just shy of the 45, mark it at the 44. 1st down and 10, Allan Hancock. Tight end motion. Line adjusts and shifts that way. First time we've seen that play action roll out into the flats, incomplete. His intended receiver on the play was A.J. Masuno. Peyton Casillas on the pressure. Now it's Hoots out in the flat on coverage, and that's big. The clock stops, 2nd down and 10. Sticking with the I-form set. New tight end motions. It's number 7, Joey Garza. Here's the handoff to Harris. He's going to be hit at the line of scrimmage and nowhere to go. Casillas in on the tackle. And Kohulun. Caden Harris nowhere to go. And it's going to be 2nd down and 2. Or correction, 3rd down. Only a pickup of 2. It's going to be 3rd down and 8 on the play. As we hit 4:30 to go, Moorpark holding on to those timeouts. Well, if a 1st down is picked up, they're going to need to start calling them. So a huge, all-important 3rd down for the Raider defense. Here's the pass, no play action. They look for the slant. It's going to be broken up. Placide, another great job getting the club in there. This time he climbs the ladder and goes over top on the slant, intended for Michael Jordan Jr. Clavel loves testing that matchup, but Placide has been phenomenal all afternoon after giving up a few on the beginning. Cronquist back to return. Acosta set to punt, and the Raiders get the job done again on defense. And now it's up to the offense. Can they recreate some magic? Cronquist, the last drive, 72 yards to the house. Here's the snap. Acosta. This one, Cronquist will fair catch. And it'll be at the 18-yard line. So with 4:13 to go, the Raider offense is going to need an 83-yard touchdown drive if they're going to want to tie this one up along with the extra point. Here's Croton.
We have number 13 LSU 49, number 20 Ole Miss 47. 1:53 to go in the game. Ole Miss has the ball.
Croton out of the shotgun. He's got 4 weapons to his right. Fires in the flats. Davis, first time we've seen that since the opening play. He'll stumble forward for a loss of 1. Not often we see the Davis flat route go for a loss. And now here's Croton. 2nd down and long to go. Needs to get something going. We're under 4 minutes to go. Not the end of the world for the Raiders as they did hold on to their timeouts, but you got to think this is an all-important drive. Croton rolls to his left under pressure, fires downfield. He's got stout, great positioning and control, and slides down to make the catch past the chains. That's a Raider first down. Pickup of 14 for River Stout. And that brings it to the 33-yard line. 3:30 to go. The Raiders play their cards right. They could be holding the ball till the final seconds of this game. They have to manage the clock. 10 seconds on the play clock. Croton just has to fall on this one, a low snap. And a good job just prioritizing maintaining possession over making something out of nothing. And just take their losses with that one. It is a loss of 6, 2nd down and 16. As we are under 3 minutes to go. A couple of the Raider receivers did not understand that it was a loss on the play. And now they line up on sides. 5 wide. Croton looks to his left, fires down the sideline. River Stout, incomplete. Contact, no flag. As Croton trying the deep ball now, 3rd down and long.
Heavy coverage provided by Aaron Small Jr.
That was Aaron Small Jr., the corner on the outside.
Was intended for number 19.
Then they'll stick in the 5 wide formation. You got to expect this ball is going to be intended for Cronquist. They need at least 10 if you're going to consider going for it on 4th down. Clock stopped at 2:42. Croton fires over the middle, tipped up, and Moten had a second chance at it, but not able to haul it in. He intended for Cronquist on the play, and they will send out the punting unit. They're going to chance it on their defense that has gotten back-to-back 3-and-outs in order to keep them in this game with 2:38 to go. Burke will punt it away. Buga is stationed at the 36-yard line of Allan Hancock. Raiders are going to need Burke's best punt of the day. And he gets it away, end over end. This one will bounce at the 40. And it will take a Raider bounce to the 34-yard line. And it'll be 1st down and 10, Allan Hancock. That's where they'll take over. 2:27 to go. Down 7. Moorpark's defense faces another daunting task of they absolutely have to get a 3-and-out here. Unless they give up a first on the first play, they'll have a chance to call those timeouts. But anything else, Moorpark could not afford to give up a 1st down this drive. And they'll go no receivers. Allan Hancock is going to run the ball. It's a handoff up the middle. Nowhere to go. Ruggiero on the tackle. That'll be a loss of 1. Handoff 2 was Ferrari Busby.
By number 18, Robert Ruggiero.
Now 2:22 left to go. Moorpark calls their first timeout of the half. We'll leave them with 2 left to go, and we'll take a short break. 17-10 your score.
Dancing it up.
We welcome you back. 2nd down and 11. Here's the handoff to the right. Harris, patience, sheds a couple tackles. He will weave his way for a pickup of 7. It's going to be a timeout Moorpark with 2:17 to go. We'll keep you with the action. It's 3rd down and 5 coming up. And an all-important 3rd down. The game lies in the balance on this play. Moorpark, if they give up a 1st down, could potentially see the ball with about 15 seconds left to go in the game. Obviously, that's not ideal for them with the entire field that they would have to drive. Down 7 here at Griffin Stadium. Got a conference matchup, and a good one at that between the Bulldogs and Raiders, both 0-1 in conference. It started up last week, both with a loss, as we mentioned earlier in the evening. 2:17 to go. Here is the 3rd down play. That could very well decide this game. No receivers. Tight end to the right and the left. They hand it off to Harris up the middle. Harris is going to pick up a 1st down for Allan Hancock. And that one could definitely put it away. The Raider defense surprisingly didn't adjust. They kept the corners outside like there were receivers, and it just led to too weak of a box, and Harris easily able to, as they did twice on that drive, go right up the middle out of their goal line package and pick up an easy 1st down. He picked up 7 on the play, as we will wind down to a 1:45. The ball does not need to be snapped for another 10 seconds, still about a 1.5 on the clock. Here's the handoff. Harris, patience, brought down, picks up about 5. Really fighting after initial contact. Last timeout will be called by Moorpark with a 1:30 to go in the game. And that's a back-breaking 1st down to give up for the Raider defense. You really need to be extra aggressive on that 3rd down play. You know they're probably going to go for the run, but at the end of it, they wind up short. It's their final timeout of the half. And we got 17-10. It'll be 2nd down and 5. 25 seconds on the play clock. Trying to do some math. It seems like the Raiders will have a chance to get the ball back potentially, but it will be very late in this 4th quarter. Not a lot of time to do anything. Well, a 1st down for sure ends it here, but I imagine they will go 2, maybe even 3 if it's 4th down and short. Might as well try to end it with Harris up the middle. They have linemen out at tight end. This is telltale run. We have safety at 10 yards. Walea bouncing it outside. Walea needs to make the tackle. And no edge help there for Walea as he's unable to. And Harris will slide down inbounds. And that'll be a 1st down. Pretty much ending this game, as we'll hit the minute left on the clock. And Allan Hancock can just wind the ball down with a couple kneel downs. And your final score will be 17-10. And we'd like to thank you all for joining us here tonight on the SoCal College Sports live stream of Raider football. As Clavel will line up in the victory formation and just take the knee down. The Raider offense really struggled tonight to get anything going until the late 72-yard score from Cronquist. Other than that, the defense stood tall for as long as they could. One more kneel down will put this game to rest. And the Raiders will fall to 2-3 on the season, while Allan Hancock will improve to 2-3 themselves and the conference win. And the Raiders got to go back to the drawing board next week. A lot to improve on. And I'd like to thank you all for joining us. We'd like to thank our sponsor for tonight's game, Air Force Special Warfare. I'd like to thank everybody at SoCal College Sports for tonight's production. I am Luke Lamont, and we'll be signing off for the rest of the night. Raiders fall short 17-10, and thank you all for joining us. Have a great rest of your night.